Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for coming for this workshop. I feel very encouraged because I write journals every day in the morning. And sometimes I have this desire to share what I write, what I've learned with others. But I wonder if people would be interested. But then seeing all of you, I'm feeling more encouraged to write. After this workshop, I'll go back and I'll again write some journal. So thank you for coming, and I feel encouraged, really. I feel I'm doing the right thing. Thank you. Keep it here. Thank you. So I'll chant some prayers and then we will start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankaja Nabhaya Namo Pankaja Maline Namo Pankaja Netraya Namaste Pankajangre Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yonta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptan sanjivayata kila shakti dhara swadhamna Anyamscha hasta charana shravana tvagadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam katanchana smrute yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismrute viparitam sya Shri Chaitanya namamitam. Hare Krishna. Good afternoon and welcome to this workshop. Okay, all of you have pen and paper to write? Anybody doesn't have, because then this workshop will be useless for you. Because we have to write something. All of you have, right? Okay. So there are two aspects to this workshop. One is the techniques of journaling, which I will share with all of you. There are around 5 techniques I will share today. There are many varieties of journaling, which all of you can discover your own varieties, but I will share 5 of the journaling that I do, 5 types. 5 of the important types that I do, and that's one part of the seminar. The second aspect of this workshop is the philosophy of journaling. And so we'll discuss both. So in techniques, I'm going to share 5 types of journaling, and in philosophy, we're going to discuss the prerequisites for journaling and what are the benefits of journal writing. This is what we will discuss. Generally, any workshop begins with theory and philosophy and then the practical. But I thought we'll do it a little different today. We'll first do the practical part, and then some questions may arise in your mind, and then we can maybe, the philosophy will make sense once you've done the practical, maybe. So I'm hoping, is it okay we do the practical first? So that you write something and you experience something. Okay? Okay, now there is a certain language I use. I just want to know how many of you are very new to the path of Bhakti Yoga. In the sense, you have no idea about the concepts of Bhakti Yoga, like God, Krishna. Anybody's never heard of Bhakti Yoga concepts? 1, 2, okay. So for those of you who don't know about Bhakti Yoga, when I say Krishna, please know that I'm referring to God. Or if you're not even a theist, it's possible. But you always, I think all of us have an idea of some higher force. So you could, when I say Krishna, you could think of universe, consciousness, God, or if you're a Star Wars fan, force, whatever you like, but a higher power than me. That's what, when I'm saying Krishna, you can connect to that. So I'm going to use, because most of you are, I can see familiar faces. So I think most of you are practicing Krishna consciousness. So I'm going to speak Krishna conscious terminology. So we'll start. So the techniques, the first journal writing technique, all of you will have to write. First listen to this method. This is called just write method, or it's also known as free writing. Listen to the rules of this, and then this is going to be our barometer. This is going to be our bell. So when I play the kartal, you start, and when I again play the kartal, you stop. Okay? Listen to this carefully. Free writing is you write on the paper anything that you want to write. Thoughts, prayers, feelings, anger, anything you want to write, just put it on your paper. But there is a twist here. You can't just pause any moment. Till I play the kartal, you can't pause, you can't stop. You may go blank. You may go blank, then what do you do? What do you do if you go blank? No, dot. You write, I am going blank. I don't know why Prabhuji has given this stupid exercise. But I have to follow this because I've agreed to the rules of the game. So these are the rules. Okay? So I may give you 3 minutes to 4 minutes depending on the energy I perceive, how you are comfortable. But generally, I do this when I do free writing. When I decide to do free writing, I do it minimum 10 minutes. But we won't do that because we have a lot of things to cover today. So at least 5 minutes I feel you could write. Can you do this? Yes. Now, what will happen as you write, suddenly you may go blank. And that doesn't mean you're unqualified, or don't start berating yourself. It's part of what is called as purification, cleansing. And as we discussed the third journaling technique, prayer journal, that time you'll understand why you're going blank. There is a reason for that, but we will come to all of that. But right now, even if you go blank, just push your pen on paper. When I write journals, certain type of journals, I sometimes pause and I reflect. But that's another type of journaling. So it's not that every time you have to keep writing. But today, in this particular exercise, just write. Now, I'll tell you what will happen. Why I'm suggesting this, so that you know the advantages of this. See, when you're driving your car on a highway, and if you're driving at 80 miles per hour, and you see the streets, so the trees on your right side or the left side, you see the trees, and you actually can't make out because the car is going fast. You can't see the birds clearly or how many branches, what flowers, what fruits. But if the car slows down, you can actually see how many branches are there on the tree. What kind of tree is it? How many birds are perched on which branch of the tree? Things become clearer when you drive slow, isn't it? Similarly, our lives are going at a rapid pace, fast. The world is on a siren call. When I was in school, we had a siren. They would, as soon as the siren, I was in army school. So as soon as they would blow the siren, we all had to run. Pom, 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 we had to run. For this world is always blowing a siren. Fast, fast, move, do, achieve. So we are very fast. We are leading a fast-paced life. So many times because of this fast-paced life, it's like going in a car at 80 miles per hour. We don't know what's happening around us, what's happening within us. But when you slow down, when you ride, you are slowing down. You can then see the flora and fauna, the trees, everything becomes clear slowly. So is that clear what I'm saying? It's just to slow down. Free writing is simply to slow down the mind. So can we start? Your time starts now. Hare Krishna. Thank you. This is a very innocuous exercise. I just wanted you to get a feel of what it is to write, because the other journaling exercises are going to be more fulfilling and more challenging. But for that, I wanted you to first get a feel of it. So now we are going to do what is called as now journaling. Now, N-O-W, now journaling. It's also known as awareness journal, or also I sometimes call it as thoughts on paper or mind on paper. So I'll explain what it is. This will include the rules of the first journal, which is you don't stop your pen, right? You will not stop your pen, but you're going to write specifically about what your mind is speaking. Now, I'll explain how this works. Visualize yourself as a person sitting in the center. On your right side is Krishna. Imagine. And Krishna wants to tell you something. Krishna wants to invite you to the spiritual realm. But Krishna's voice is soft. Very loving voice, but it is soft. Krishna's voice is slow. It's detached. Krishna is not going to push you and scold you. He's just waiting. The Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Krishna says this. Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishto matta smritirgyanam apohanam cha. Krishna is there in the heart. He's just waiting for you to turn your head towards him. Where is he? He's sitting on your right side. But we're not turning to him, and we're not looking at him, not listening to him, because our head is turned on the left side. And we are listening to whom? Mr. Mind. When I say mind, I'm talking about the composite of M-I-E, mind, intelligence and ego. I'm clubbing all of that and calling it as mind. Just for simplifying. I'm trying to oversimplify the whole internal process, what happens. So imagine on your left side is a 10 foot tall, huge, gigantic, ferocious looking demon. And he is like shouting non-stop. He has the ability to talk non-stop, 24 hours. And what you are doing, your neck is turned on your left side. And you're not only looking at him and nodding everything to everything he's saying, you're also doing whatever he orders you to do. And occasionally, sometimes you hear Krishna's voice. Occasionally. But what is Krishna's voice? Soft, slow and detached. And mind's voice is exactly opposite. Fast, loud and attached. So when I'm chanting my japa in the morning, I go through this. I hear this soft voice. I hear this soft voice. Be attentive. Listen to the holy name. But then that voice just fades away. And then I hear a loud voice. Check the WhatsApp message now. Send him the message. Text him. Do this, do that. Go to the washroom. Blah, blah. Mind is constantly ordering me. So many devotees I've seen, they chant their japa and they also check WhatsApp messages. And they're also driving. Hare Krishna, and driving and checking, multitasking. So that means Krishna's voice is not heard at all. So at the end of the workshop, you're going to have techniques by which you will be empowered to learn to listen to that soft, inviting voice of Krishna. That's the whole agenda of this workshop. Right now, we're only hearing the mind's voice. Now, we don't want to jump to directly Krishna's voice. First, let us acknowledge and accept that the mind is talking. Acceptance is one of the most powerful tools to puncture the mind's rant. Most of us, we deny the mind's existence. I just want Krishna. That denial is the worst kind of lie, because that's a lie you tell yourself. Don't deny. Yes, mind is a reality. You can't divorce the mind. If your spouse is abusing you, you can go to a police station. But you are married to this. And you can't, no police station will register your complaint of abuse. So when I write journals, I sometimes refer to my mind as Chanchal. Chanchal is a very sweet sounding Indian feminine name. So I like to feel that, okay, Chanchal is my companion. I can't do away with her. So Chanchal is now saying, do this. Chanchal is, so this exercise, what you're doing now, you could write, if you want, you could refer to your mind with a name. So when I say start, you're going to write whatever thoughts you're getting in the head. Like you may get the thought that, how long will this seminar go on? Or this sounds exciting. Or you may get a thought about tomorrow's, Monday, you have to go to office, work, anything. As he said, as Maimarnava said, that 60,000 thoughts we get, right? We get so many thoughts. So whatever the mind is saying, put it on paper. If you want, you could refer to the mind in a third person. Chanchal is, I write like that. Chanchal is now saying this, Chanchal is doing this, Chanchal is now. And very important here, this is a very important criteria. Please don't judge. Oh, the mind is so nasty. The mind is now saying, oh, get up and leave this room. If you're judging, that means it's the mind talking. Mind has come through the back door. Mind is very slippery. You can't conquer the mind. The best way to deal with the mind is observe without judging. You see this video camera? How will a video camera observe this room? What will the video camera say? Will the video camera say this room is very hot? The video camera will say there are maybe 8 bulbs, 8 lights. Okay. The video camera will say there is two paintings. Or the video camera will say there is a clock behind the speaker. The video camera will not say, there is a difference between observation and judgment. I hope all of you are clear of that. Right? If I say, Argentina is a better football team than England, that's a judgment. Right? But if I say, in the last 8 matches, Argentina has defeated England 7 times. So that's an observation. So just like a video camera is observing this room, this awareness journal is an opportunity for you to switch on the video camera inside your existence. And this video camera will observe without judging. Just observe the world of, there's an amazing world inside. You will be amazed by what exists inside. There are 2 worlds, right? That's what Harry Potter talks about. Muggles and the wizards. And there are different rules both the worlds have. Right? I was amazed. The wizards have their own bank system, police, Olympics. Last year I was baptized into this. When I came to England, they took me to platform 9 3/4 at King's Cross. And they said, Prabhu, you can embrace this holy dham, this pillar. But I couldn't enter that space. But I know there are 2 worlds. I'm aware of that. One is the world outside, where we've been taught etiquette, manners from childhood. We've been taught social dealings. All of us have been taught how to greet elders. In India, we are told, anytime you see an elderly person, when I was a 5-year-old boy, I remember telling grown-up people, Namaste uncle, namaste auntie. They may not be your aunt or uncle, but we are trained. Namaste uncle. Say please, say thank you. We are taught etiquette from childhood to deal with the outside world. But how many of us have been taught about the world inside? What is the nexus between mind and intelligence and ego? How is ego the mafia boss, the don? And how intelligence is the bodyguard of the mind? How the mind accepts and rejects? We have never been taught all of this. So we have no idea what's there inside. And we don't know the rules. And that's why we suffer more than what we need to suffer. So, and the solution is not to simply, just become intense in your devotional service. First is to become aware. Intensity without sensitivity often leads to insanity. We just can't be intense without understanding. Awareness is very important. So just like a video camera would observe this room, awareness journal or now writing is simply switching on the video camera to your inside world and writing on paper whatever your mind is saying. Is that clear? Is the rule clear? So suddenly you may go blank. You can say now the mind is very quiet. The mind has nothing to say. So you have to separate yourself from your thoughts. That's the point. Our problem is, please listen to this very carefully. Right now, some of you may be a little lost because our identity has merged with the mind, because of which we are unable to realize that I am separate from my mind. See, I am separate from this watch. This watch is not me. Similarly, the mind is not you. Remember, the mind is on your left side. The mind may shout at you, the mind may order you, but the mind cannot touch you because you're not the mind. But we have embraced the mind. Is it clear? So I generally use the name Chanchal for my mind when I'm writing my journal. Chanchal says this, Chanchal says that, but sometimes Chanchal's rant is too loud for me to handle, or her proposals are too gruesome. So then I change. I stop referring to mind as Chanchal. I start referring to my mind as Gollum. Gollum is a character from Lord of the Rings. And Gollum is wanting to serve his master, but also plotting to kill him. Very, very vicious. So J.R. Tolkien has created an amazing character. So you could refer to Gollum, mind as Gollum or Chanchal or anything in between. Once I did this workshop for children, one girl, she referred to her mind as Dushasan. She always says, Dushasan is telling me to do this. So everybody, you can have your own version. But I'm just, for starters, you can just write mind. The point is, separate yourself from your mind. This is extremely empowering. You will be amazed by how, at the end of this exercise, you know what you will feel? If you do this sincerely, this is what you will feel. Wow, you are an amazing personality. You will be like amazed at your mind that, wow, what are the thoughts I'm getting? This is not me. That realization that you are not your thoughts is empowering. You are liberated. You come out of the cage. Congratulations. This is what will happen. You will feel like a free bird. Whenever I'm disturbed and I'm like stuck, I just start awareness journal. At the end of 10 minutes, I take out my mobile phone, put an alarm for 10 minutes and 10 minutes of free writing. You know what is free writing? Free writing plus awareness journal. At the end of those 10 minutes, I'm like completely peaceful because all that was the mind, not me. I have separated myself from the mind. Everybody is clear? We can start now? Yes, you want to say something?
You said intensity without sensitivity, leads to insanity.
This is my two pence worth realization. I just said it. Okay. Remember, what is a very important rule in this? What are the rules of, before you start, what are the rules of awareness journal? First rule, don't stop your pen. Second rule, no judgments. Because if you are judging, what is happening? What is happening if you are judging? The mind has come through the back door. Once one devotee was telling me, Prabhu, my mind is so bad, my mind is troubling me so much, my mind is so nasty. I was chuckling to myself because as he was speaking, I could see that it's his mind. He may be, See, at the level of the soul, you will be very peaceful. We will discuss that when we come to the third type of journal, and you will experience that also. But for now, just observe your mind. Is that okay? We'll start. The time starts now. No stopping of the pen and no judgments. Hare Krishna. Thank you for doing this exercise. The Upanishads, they explain the sacred text of India about man was meditating under a tree, and he was in a meditative pose, and a snake slithered by and came and bit him. It was a very poisonous snake. And he opened his eyes and he looked around and he saw a mouse running. So he thought, a mouse has bit me. And he closed his eyes and continued to meditate. And nothing happened to him. And after a few days, he was again sitting under the tree and he was meditating, and a mouse came and bit him. And then after some time, he looked around and he saw a snake going from behind him. So he thought, a snake has bit me. And then he died after a few minutes. These are cryptic stories in Upanishads. You have to figure out the purport. Don't ask me questions. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna something similar. So basically, who killed him? It was not the snake or the mouse. It's his mind. Krishna tells Arjuna, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. First he calls mind as Chanchal. Chanchalam. So I like that word. Chanchal means somebody who is restless, fickle. Sounds very cute. Oh, Chanchal is okay. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. We think, oh, even a child, even a baby is restless and fickle. But the baby is so cute. Right? But Krishna says, Arjuna is not an ordinary Chanchal. Chanchalam hi... Sorry, Arjuna is telling Krishna, not Krishna. Arjuna is telling Krishna that, Krishna, I can't control my mind. I can't. Because mind is Chanchal. And just so that the readers of Gita later on don't think mind is very cute, he clarifies. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati. Pramati means mad. He's not simply a cute, restless baby, but a mad person. You may think, theek hai, okay, mad, crazy, but Chanchal, baby, child is always easily, you can negotiate, you can always manage the child. You can control the child. Physically, the child is not so strong. Therefore, the next adjective he uses is, first is what? Chanchal. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. Second, Pramati means mad. And then he says, Balavad. It's not a baby, it's an elephant. Imagine a restless, mad elephant. That's the mind. You may say, okay, restless, mad elephant. I am an expert Mahot. I can control the elephant. But he says, no, you cannot, because it's not simply restless, mad elephant. It is also Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavad dridam, stubborn elephant. You cannot control it. Very obstinate. Tasyaham nigraham manye. I cannot control my mind, O Krishna, but I can. Vayoriva sudushkaram. I can control a cyclone. Arjuna was such an expert archer that he could shoot arrows and stop a tsunami or a cyclone. But he says, I can't control my mind. This is very, very important statement coming from somebody who had controlled his mind to such an extent that when he was in the heavenly planets, Urvashi came to him with a proposal to enjoy. And he could resist her advances very respectfully. And she was shocked. She said, everyone wants to enjoy me and I'm coming on my own, offering myself to you, and you are refusing. So if somebody at that level says, I can't control my mind, then who are we? I remember His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Maharaj was once telling a very important, very nice thing. He said, not a nice thing, actually a sad story, but very instructive story. His father's his colleague was a railway worker in Germany. So his job was to store all the vegetables or something in that, there is a freezer kind of coach where all the things were kept. So he went to inspect that coach, and he went in and he was exploring the coach, and suddenly somebody locked that coach from outside. And he came outside and he kept banging the door, but that person had left. And he was locked inside, and he knew, because he was an engineer there, working there, he knew that in that freezing coach, you cannot survive for more than some 4.5 hours or something is the average time a person lasts, and after 5 hours a person dies. So he knew that I need help within the next 5 hours or I'll die. And during those days they didn't have mobile phones, so he kept shouting, banging the door, but nobody came to help him. And 8-9 hours passed and he died. Next day morning, when the workers came and they opened the coach and they saw him dead. And what happens when you die because of cold? Like your body becomes what color? I don't know. Blue. He was like completely had frozen to death. But everyone was shocked because there had been no electricity there for 24 hours. The Sachinand Maharaj asked us, who killed him? Mind killed him. That's why Krishna says, Bandhuratmat manastasya enatmaya atmanojita anatmanastu shatrutve vartetatmeva shatruvat. Mind can be the best friend if kept in check, but the same mind can be the worst enemy. And generally we think, I want to see if we try to control the mind directly, then we'll get exasperated because we cannot control the mind. Therefore, when people tell me, can I control my mind? I say, I don't know about you, but I can't control my mind. But I can teach you techniques by which you can be more aware of your mind. And if you're aware of your mind, 90% of the battle is won. Because then it's very easy to let Krishna control the mind. Okay, so is this clear? What you have done just now? Okay, I want to ask a question. How many of you while doing this exercise, how many of you suddenly felt at some point of time that your mind went blank? You just didn't know what to write. Thank you. I really want to thank you because just to honor my request, you kept writing nevertheless. But I want to congratulate you because if your mind went blank, you are ready for the third journaling exercise, which is where you will see amazing spiritual emotions blossom and come in your heart. So what has happened is, this third type of journaling is called prayer journal. Yes, Prabhu.
Can I ask a question about the one that we just did?
You can, or do you think it's better we take questions after all the 5 exercises, or is it going to affect if you think it's going to affect the next? No, we can ask. So I was thinking, I said in the beginning that we'll first do all the 5 types of journaling, then we'll discuss the philosophy of journaling, and then we'll discuss the prerequisites for journaling, and then we'll take questions. So where was I? So first type of journaling is what? Free writing. Second, awareness. Now the third is prayer journal. So what is a prayer journal? Now, when I get up in the morning, I start with the prayer. Krishna, I love you. Krishna, I want to serve you. Like that. A prayer, I start writing. Now you can also do that, but then we will not do prayer journal the way, it's not so simple. I don't want you to do a simple prayer journal because your mind will anyway wander. So now that you already practiced awareness journal, right? Just now practiced free writing. Now I want you to club both of that and include that in prayer journal. I'll give an example. Just let's listen to me first. Start writing a prayer to Krishna, and as you write prayer, you'll see your mind wander. And that prayer would not be with feeling. You will not be able to express a prayer with emotions because the mind's voice is very loud. Remember, mind's sound is fast, loud and attached. So you will not be able to offer who is offering prayer? You are offering prayer to Krishna. That means you are turning your neck to the right side, right? prayer journalists. But when you offer prayer to Krishna, we are turning to Krishna and you are expressing your heart, you are talking to Krishna and there is a communication happening, but Krishna's voice is soft and mind's voice is loud. So the mind is still talking and you can't express your heart. I don't know if I've experienced this sometimes in the kirtan, in the temple hall. So I'm talking to a devotee, but the kirtan sound is so loud that we can't hear what we are talking to each other. Sometimes I can't hear my own voice. The traffic noise in Mumbai, where I come from, the noise is so loud that I can't hear what I'm saying and I can't hear what he's saying. So the mind's voice is like that traffic noise. So even though I'm offering a prayer to my Lord, that prayer is devoid of any juice or any substance. It's like a dry ritual. So what I do, I start with a prayer journal, and if I feel I'm unable to connect with Krishna, then I turn back at the mind. Okay, sir, what are you saying? I switch on the video camera. I just start writing what the mind is saying, like all of you did in the previous exercise. And what happened? Suddenly you went blank. That means the mind realized that the mind has been apprehended. What happens when you catch a thief? The thief is helpless. You can't do anything. So at some point of time, the mind just becomes quiet. Like a very tantrum throwing spouse. And he or she is constantly ranting and you are like, okay, go on, go on. And at a certain point of time, sab khatam nikal gaya. Nothing more to say. It happens sometimes. There is so much of release needed. The mind wants to express. So what you have done is you have simply heard your spouse without judgment. Yes. And when the mind is quiet, that's when you turn to Krishna. And if you write the same sentence which you wrote earlier, which was devoid of any rasa, the same sentence now would appear to be filled with emotion. And that is not your mind, that is you. That is the soul. People say in ISKCON, I have seen people say, Prabhu, I don't know anything about the soul. Good, you don't know about the soul. But if somebody says, I know the soul very well. Well, he also doesn't know. Because you can't know the soul, because you are the soul. Soul is not an object. I know the watch. That means watch is different from me. But if you say, I know the soul, that means you are thinking you are different from the soul. So soul cannot be known. Soul is you. And when you are praying to Krishna, it is your prayer, it is your voice. But right now it's the mind. So if you want to offer that prayer, heartfelt prayer to Krishna, just turn back to the mind and just write down what the mind is saying. And then when the mind is quiet, come back. I'll give an example. This is today morning's my prayer. This is how my prayer journal was today morning. I'll not read the whole thing, just what is suitable for you to get an idea of how you could write. Let's listen to this. I began like this. Krishna, I love you. I really want to serve you. I belong to you. I want to spend the rest of the week glorifying you. At this point of time, I realized I'm not saying it with feeling. I paused, changed the paragraph, the next paragraph. I took a deep breath and I wrote, now Chanchal is fearful about the consequences of yesterday's class. She says I shouldn't have spoken about relaxation. She says people were confused. She says they are not yet ready for this. Now she is saying it is good I spoke about the class. Now she says I should call up Lalit Madhav because it was his birthday 2 days ago. Today is Vallabh's birthday. And she is now fearful that I am missing Sankirtan. She is now upset that I missed Mangalarti for last 2 days. And suddenly I went blank. I could see that ho gaya, mind ka, ho gaya. Mind is stopped. Then I turned back and I wrote the same sentence. Krishna, I love you. I really want to serve you. And those 4 words, Krishna, I love you. Wow. I felt so connected to the Lord. I felt so peaceful. I felt a reciprocation from the Lord. I felt I'm safe. Because the world is constantly telling us you're inadequate. You're not good. We're always driven by guilt, fear. How many of you have ever felt guilty? You feel fearful, insecure? How many of you have ever been a victim of approval-seeking behavior? You need approval of others. How many of you have been control freaks at least sometime in your life? How many of you always wanted to enjoy? Sorry for giving so many. How many of you are very time conscious always? What is the time now? How many of you are speed conscious? I have to be... right? All of these, we are victims of all of this. All of this stops when Krishna hears your voice and you hear Krishna's voice. Did you get what I'm saying? Very clear, right? So it may... this is not at all complicated. It's very simple. You just... So, okay, what are the rules of this exercise? This is called prayer journal. How will you begin the journal? How will you start writing? When I play the karta, how will you start? Start with the prayer, right? As much prayer as you want, whatever you want to write. But when you suddenly feel at some point of time that this prayer is not me, it doesn't have my voice, it's not me, it's inauthentic. If you feel that, if you don't feel that, then continue writing your prayer. If you feel it's not authentic, then pause, start a fresh paragraph. And what would you do in that paragraph? Awareness journal. Switch on the video camera, just write what the mind is saying. Instead of trying to listen to Krishna, you are listening to the mind consciously. And then what happens? When will you stop that paragraph? If the mind goes quiet, till then you keep writing. When the mind is quiet, then you turn back and then continue offering prayer. Can we do this? Anybody has any discomfort? No? We can do it? Let us start. Your time starts now. You can take a break for a half a second or 1 second and take a deep breath. This is not exactly free writing. You can pause. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So the whole exercise was aimed at switching between prayer and awareness journal. Switching between prayers and awareness. This is how we chant also. So when I'm chanting, many times devotees want to know how I can chant well. So when I chant, mind is disturbed. I have stopped struggling now. Many times, because the struggle makes me exhausted. Devotees, while chanting the holy names, if they are always struggling, then they need sense gratification for relief. Struggle leads to sense gratification. Struggle should lead us to surrender. So at some point of time, I give up the struggle. I say, Krishna, this is where I am. My mind is saying this. My mind is troubling me. I let go the struggle and allow Krishna to hold the reins of the chariot. So this is prayer journal. Now we are going to do the most exciting type of journal, the fourth type. But before that, I want to ask you, you wrote your prayer, right? Now I request you just once, I'll give you 1 minute, just read what you have written quietly. And then answer my questions. All of you read? Okay. How many of you, while writing this prayer journal, how many of you pray, we pray different ways. How many of you praised the Lord in this journal? Like, Krishna, you are so wonderful, you have so many qualities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, few of you. Thank you. So you praised the Lord, right? The Lord is wonderful. All His qualities you could write. You could describe His beauty. So remember, one of the most important elements of prayer is praise. If we learn how to praise the Lord by writing, then we are actually touching a very important aspect of our life. We are actually developing a beautiful relationship with Krishna. In this world also, when you want to make a nice relationship with someone, if you praise that person becomes very happy. Krishna is not flattered. Krishna is not somebody who will be... but it's a nice way of connecting with Krishna. Okay, how many of you in your prayer journal, as you are writing, expressed your disqualification? Thank you. Okay. How many of you, as you are writing your prayer journal, expressed forgiveness? Shout for forgiveness. Please forgive me for this or this. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And how many of you were requesting the Lord? I want this, I want that. Nobody else? Wow. All. Time finished. Oh. There's so much we want to request the Lord. Most of us, when we pray, we begin with requests only. But our Bhagavatam and our in Bhakti path, the requisition from the Lord is the last part. First we praise the Lord, we thank the Lord, we beg for forgiveness. How many of you thank the Lord? Oh, great. So now you are going to practice this fourth type of journal is called gratitude journal. Now you know what is prayer journal. You are going to add the element of gratitude, and this is going to be a little different. You're not, I've seen people say, thank you Krishna or thank you Prabhuji for everything. So when they say that, I know thank you for everything means thank you for nothing. Gratitude is not abstract, gratitude is specific. So what you're going to do in this gratitude journal, you're not going to say Krishna thank you for everything. You're going to write 1, 2, 3, whatever you. There are two rules in this gratitude journal. First is specific gratitude. Okay, actually let's make it like this. Let's make it 3 rules. It's very interesting. Listen to this carefully. First is specific gratitude. Okay? Not gratitude for everything. Second, I'm giving you a sample so that you can try this later. This will come handy. This is called fresh gratitude. I'll explain what it is. Now, specific gratitude can also become boring, cliched, monotonous after a few days. Because I have practiced gratitude journal for many years now. So initially I was very excited. I would thank my grandparents, my parents, my brothers, my Guru Maharaj. But after a few days, yeah, you run out of how do I thank them? So that emotion wasn't, and then I feel guilty. The mind's, oh, you're not grateful to your parents. Mind is always, So then what do I do? So I discovered this amazing method called fresh gratitude. Just like you like fresh vegetables, fresh fruits. So what is fresh gratitude? I'm sure all of you, oops, sorry, I'm so sorry. Keep it. All of you must have experienced at least one good thing in the last 24 hours. Right? At least one good thing you must have experienced or felt or seen or received. So you can express gratitude for what has happened in the last 24 hours. That is called fresh gratitude. If you can't recall anything that good that has happened in the last 24 hours, please recall anything good that has happened in the last 1 week. At least you will get 5-6 things that you can be grateful for in the last 1 week. If nothing, then at least last 1 year. And if you can't remember much from the last 1 year, then I'm sure since you are born, something good must have happened. So go back in time as much as you can. I remember once I was doing this workshop, and one of the boys is son of my very close friend. So he takes liberties with me. He told me, Prabhuji, I am doing so much for so many people. Nobody thanks me. And you are telling me to thank everyone. I said, do it. And then, he was sitting back. Everybody else was writing the gratitude journal. He was looking out of the window and he was like spaced out. So I went from behind, I pulled his ear. I said, write. He said, okay. And then he started writing. It was a 10-minute exercise. And then at some point of time, I don't know what happened to him. He was so absorbed in writing. And when I stopped the exercise, he just couldn't stop. And then I was wondering, he was really into it. And then after 2 weeks, he called me. He said, Prabhuji, my life has changed dramatically. I am so excited writing gratitude journal every day. He was so reluctant to write initially. Now he says, I can't miss it. And then I have seen fresh gratitude is extremely powerful, because when you practice fresh gratitude, then you know how you go about your day. Your antenna is always on. You're looking for things to be grateful for. So next morning it has to come in your journal. So you are catching the good things. Generally we catch the bad things. We are tuned in to catch negativity. That's how news channels flourish, because they know we have a bias towards negativity. But when we practice fresh gratitude, we are always looking for good things in our life. I hope you're getting it. So what are the 3 rules? What is the first rule of a gratitude journal? Specific gratitude. Second, fresh. And third, very, very important. Then just don't write, I'm grateful for prasad or temple visit, journal workshop. No. The third is very important. Answer the question why. Why are you grateful for that? Okay, what are the 3 rules? What is the first rule of a gratitude journal? Specific. Second, fresh. Third, why. I'll just read a sample from today's gratitude journal so that you get an idea of how you could write. This is embarrassing, but I'll say. I was grateful. First, specific, right? Thank you, Krishna, for a great class yesterday. So you can skip out thank you, Krishna, because you can write, I write thank you, Krishna first, and then I write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great class yesterday. Specific, fresh, now the why. So I write this great class and then dash. Devotees are very happy, and the messages I got from BAP, RRP, RNP is all your mercy. It's you who helped me speak properly. Thank you, Krishna. In the past, I was very haughty after a good class, but yesterday you kept me humble. Okay, it took me maybe a minute. But what happened when I answered the question why, I actually touched the emotion of gratitude. Gratitude is no longer a ritual. It's not a lip service. Because I answered the question why, I was able to invest the emotion of gratitude. Do you understand what I'm saying? Gratitude carries an emotion and an energy, and many times we are deprived of that energy. So this is one. Second, SB class of HV Arivamsha Prabhu. The class was pure nectar. There was Ramayana, Srimad Bhagavatam, Vrajalila. It gave me so much nourishment. Thank you, Krishna. Walk. I felt rejuvenated and strong after a 60-minute walk. It was healthy dopamine for an agitated mind. Social fatigue notes. Thank you, Krishna. Now I know what is wrong with me. The 1-hour essay has helped me manage my social life better. So these are the few things that I am thanking Krishna for, which has happened in the last 24 hours. So if you see, there is fresh gratitude, there is specific thing I am thanking for, and also there is a why. Like let's say you had some nice prasad, you could always say, like I remember once I had some nice exotic prasad. First time I had some Mexican rice, something I wrote, and then I wrote next to it, I had to write a why I am grateful for that. And you don't have time to think, you just have to write. Let it come from, it does not have to be something very sublime. It doesn't have to be spiritually something it doesn't have to be from a space of spiritual enlightenment. You understand what I'm saying? It's like I wrote, it was some Mexican item. I said, thank you, Krishna, for this. Why? Because I'm a foodie, I love good food, and I got nice prasad yesterday. And even as I wrote it, I realized what a silly thing to write. But then it was authentic. It was from my heart, and therefore that gratitude would carry an energy. I think I mentioned this recently, day before yesterday in a class. Somewhere I was mentioning, I'll share this again. Recently, I'm one of the quote and unquote senior brahmacharis in our ashram. I've been around for 25 years. There's a younger brahmachari who just joined the ashram. So they look up to me as somebody senior. So in my gratitude journal, I write on paper. Although the first page says clearly, confidential, please don't read these pages. But what happened, I was writing, and ashram life, we are living in a public space. Although we have our small rooms, but bathrooms are common. So then I was writing my journal, and devotees were running around and they were doing their activities. And I had written a journal because one of my other close friends in the ashram, who is a great cook, he knows that I don't like certain food items. I'm from South India, and there are North Indians who are fond of rajma. And rajma I never liked. And there is another sabji I never liked, it's called arbi. I don't know if you know, arbi is very sticky. It's very sticky. And the third I never liked was chole. Chole is also an Indian sabzi. So then, and he knew this because he's my very close friend. So he said, Prabhu, I'm going to make all the 3 items in such a way that you will love it. So I said, really? So then what he did, because he's a great cook, so he made rajma and he called it rajma tacos. He got a Mexican flavor to it. And then he fed me in a bowl and I was so amazed. I ate the whole thing like a snack item. And then he brought me a bowl of arbi. And I went, it's arbi. And then he had deep fried it. He had made it crispy like a wafer. I couldn't believe it is arbi. And I was enjoying it so much. I thought, wow. And then he brought me chole. I said, Prabhu, I can't take this chole. This chole I don't like. If I just taste it, little taste. And when I tasted it, he had put Italian sauce. He called it Italian chole. And it was completely, it had all those ingredients, olives and all of that. It was very different. And I ate all of them like a snack item. And I was amazed. So in my journal that the next day, I wrote, thank you, Krishna, for chole, rajma and arbi. And I was explaining why. And just then I got a phone call. I had to rush. I kept the journal like this on the table and I went out. And the brahmachari who had just joined the ashram, he was cleaning the premises, dusting, and he saw that. Thank you, Krishna, for rajma. Oh, Vraja Bihari Prabhu is writing all this. And then he didn't say anything to me, but after a few days we were taking lunch in the temple. He said, Prabhu, sorry to ask you this, but I thought, in devotional service we have to thank Krishna for the opportunity to practice Shuddha Bhakti, Krishna Prem. We should thank Krishna for the opportunity to render devotional service. You are thanking Krishna for chole. I mean, is that okay to... Then I told him, it is better to remember Krishna for the ordinary things than to forget Krishna in pursuit of the extraordinary thing. We have many extraordinary goals, I want to become a pure devotee. I want to go back home, back to Godhead. I want to become a pure chanter of the holy names. We have very extraordinary ambitions. And in that pursuit, many times we become hard-hearted because we are so disconnected from that. It is better to remember Krishna gratefully for the ordinary things. You have all of you have your own attachments. You are attached to your offspring, your spouse, your children, maybe your laptop. You may be attached to small things. So if those attachments, you can somehow Krishnaize it, somehow remember Krishna. At wherever we are, at whatever level we are, that's where we can begin from. So this gratitude journal is extremely powerful. Your life will change dramatically, trust me. You know what will happen if you practice gratitude journal for 1 week, you know what will happen? You will feel wealthy, you will feel rich. I'm a poor brahmachari, but I feel I'm very rich. I'll ask you a simple question. What is better, to be rich or to feel rich? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Prabhu, both. You'll say, Prabhu, we should feel rich, but you want to be rich also and feel rich also. But feeling rich is better than being rich because you don't have to worry about paying taxes. Right? You don't have anxieties. You can feel rich. And gratitude is such an amazing experience, especially when it's abstract, you can't make any sense of it. But when it is specific, fresh, and there is an answer to why, then you feel rich. You feel nobody can take something. You have something which nobody can take it. And a time will come in your life. There was a time once I was writing my gratitude journal and I was shocked at what I wrote. Sometimes some things, there are something very deep within at the level of the soul. They just come out and you are surprised that you've written it. Like I thank Krishna for one very bad thing that happened to me in the past. I had been emotionally blackmailed. And I had thought it was one of the most traumatic periods of my life where I could never forgive that person. And I remember I could actually express gratitude for that and also forgive that person. And when I did that, I was emotional and I couldn't believe I had forgiven that person. It was genuine. It was from the space of the soul. And I was amazed at how, of course, then the mind takes over again. And mind is incorrigible. So I cannot claim to be always on the spiritual level. But I'm just saying I get those glimpses. And those glimpses have convinced me the power of journaling. Although I am, to be very honest, very ordinary, and very vulnerable to attacks of the illusory energy. At the same time, those glimpses have shown me the power of journaling. So especially gratitude journal is extremely powerful. And you know what happens? One more thing will happen now as you write. As I was writing one day gratitude journal, I suddenly stopped and I wrote a sentence, Krishna, what can I do for you? Like imagine I have done 25 favors to you, and if you keep thanking me for that, Prabhu, thank you for this. Prabhu, thank you, you got me a job in London. Prabhu, thank you, you got me this, you got me this. And then in the end, what would naturally come out of your mouth is, Prabhu, you've done so much for me. What can I do for you? Wouldn't that be very natural? So I remember one day when I was expressing a gratitude journal, and suddenly I stopped. At one point of time, I wrote, Krishna, I really want to do something for you. What can I do for you? And as I completed that sentence, I realized, wow, that was the prayer. That sentence was what our 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, the most exalted spiritual personalities have offered prayers. They wanted to please the Lord. They didn't want anything for themselves. So for that brief moment, I was in that space where I felt I really want to please Krishna. So it's possible to touch spiritual energy through gratitude. So can we do this now? All of you know the 3 rules. After this, we'll take a break for, yeah.
Before writing, do we just thank Krishna or we thanking other people?
You could do anything. See, this is the gratitude journal. See, you could thank other people also, but here we are specifically focusing on God. It's an extension of prayer journal. And in the next type of journal, you will understand how to thank others also. You could do that also. But right now, we'll focus on thanking God. Even for other people, na? Like for example, I think I read once, Srimad Bhagavatam class of Harivansha Prabhu, right? The class was pure nectar. Now, I'm thanking Krishna because he gave me an opportunity to attend his class. But what I did after this, I didn't even have to think. I picked up my smartphone. I sent a WhatsApp message to this devotee appreciating his class. And then he replied back saying, oh, Prabhu, you are in London and you heard the Shopati Bhagavatam class. You are so busy. And he felt so overwhelmed because he's relatively new. And then he didn't expect I'll hear his class. He didn't expect me. I'll send him a long message appreciating his class. And then there was such a nice exchange we had. All that happened because I thanked Krishna in the morning. So I didn't have to try to send him a message. It all happened. It naturally happened. So we need to thank other people, but first we thank Krishna for the opportunity because this devotee, whatever good he has done to you, has come from Krishna. Okay. So all of you know the 3 rules, right? We'll start and we'll do this for 5 minutes. And if you feel last one day you're not remembering much, go back in time. Okay. The time starts now. Specific, fresh, and why. The first sentence can be thank you Krishna for, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thank you. Somebody asked me, if I practice gratitude journal, will I develop love for Krishna? What do you think is the answer for this question? Yes. I have got a different answer. I say, yes, of course, you will develop love for Krishna, but something else will happen before you develop love for Krishna. If you practice gratitude journal, we will realize that Krishna loves us. And that's a big deal. You know why? If you realize Krishna loves you, it's a matter of time before you fall in love with Krishna. My nephew, my sister's son, is a good boy, but also a rascal. And he got married recently. And this girl is so gracious, so dignified, such an amazing family. And they came to the temple, and because I don't attend marriages, so they came after marriage and for blessings, and then we had special puja for them. And then we had lunch at Govinda's in our restaurant, and then we were talking. So I looked at her and I said, how did you get married to him? You are so good. So then we all laughed. And then she said something interesting. She said they were in the medical college for, I think, 6 years. They were studying together. She said we were all a group of friends. We all were good friends. But consistently, by the end of the 6th year, I realized how much he loves me. And I don't know why, how, when it happened, but I realized that he loves me so much, and I also developed the same emotions for him. Then I remembered a Bollywood song, an old song. Some of those who are familiar with Bollywood. There is a very famous song which says, "Nana karte pyar tumhi se kar baithe, karna tha inkar, magar ikrar tumhi se kar baithe." The song translates as, I wanted to say no, 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 no to you. This heroine is singing. I wanted to say no, 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 but I ended up saying yes. So Krishna has given us so much, and if you keep thanking Krishna, we'll realize at one point of time, Krishna loves me so much. And before we realize, we'll develop those emotions for Krishna. Many times we say, Krishna will always reciprocate with you. Krishna, no, forget that. Krishna has already given us so much. We have to reciprocate with Krishna now. So this is gratitude journal. But very important, we'll have a break now because gratitude is incomplete. This gratitude, at the end of the day, it's all about me, what I got in life. It's all about I, me and mine. And if our gratitude is only about I, then we are missing the best part of gratitude journal. There is something more to life than ourselves. And if we touch that space, then our gratitude would catapult us to the level of pure bhakti. And that journal is the most life-transforming journal that I've ever experienced. We will discuss that after the break, which is it is now 3:37 on my watch. We'll meet at what time? 5 minutes. It's 3:38. When should we come back here? 4? 4 sharp, we'll start the second session. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Before we get into that, one point about gratitude journal. I recommend highly, there is one lecture of Srila Prabhupada. It's called Just Learn to Love Krishna. This is July 5, 1971. It's there on YouTube. It's a 15 minutes class. Unfortunately, the recording stops after that. So, and they have put some other class, but it's a 15 minutes class called Just Learn How to Love Krishna by Srila Prabhupada, July 5, 1971. This lecture is very, very important for Hare Krishna devotees who sometimes get confused and wonder if I'm doing well in bhakti. Devotees want a yardstick to know whether they are successful in Krishna consciousness or not. Like if you're working in a corporate sector, you know whether you are doing well, right? What is the criteria? You achieve your deadlines, projects, etc. You get the money, whatever. You get your business. In Krishna consciousness, how do I know that I'm doing well? So Srila Prabhupada gives us an amazing yardstick in this class. So listen to this carefully. Because why I'm saying this is because this confirms the power of gratitude journal. Srila Prabhupada begins this short 15 minutes class with the story of one South Indian Brahmin who was illiterate, but he was reading Bhagavad Gita. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and everybody was making fun of him. So Srila Prabhupada's words. Srila Prabhupada says, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to him and said, you are not only illiterate, but you are reading, and you are not only reading, but you are crying as you are reading Bhagavad Gita. This Brahman thought, oh, everybody is making fun of me, but this sannyasi is genuinely asking. So then he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually I am not crying, I am not reading, I am feeling. Srila Prabhupada's words. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what is that feeling? The Brahman said, I am feeling that Krishna is God and Krishna is driving the chariot of devotee. I am feeling Krishna is so kind. I am feeling Krishna is so nice. And that is why I am crying. And Srila Prabhupada says, this is success in Krishna consciousness. If we can feel Krishna is nice, Krishna is kind. So the whole class speaks on how we should develop this feeling. If we can develop this feeling, then we are successful in bhakti. You don't need the world to give you a certificate. It's not that if you get so much of money to the temple, then you are successful, or if you become the temple president, if you become a guru. No, the success is, are we feeling that God is nice, God is kind? One devotee in one class, he told me, Prabhu, but I don't feel Krishna is so nice and Krishna is so kind because he's driving Arjuna's chariot. I said, no, but you can feel Krishna is so nice and Krishna is so kind because Krishna is driving your chariot also. Okay, how many of you here have at least once in your life felt that when you were on road or train or air, you almost had a fatal accident and you just had a close shave? See, so many hands. So that means Krishna was driving your chariot. You could go back to that incident and say, Krishna is so nice. Krishna is so kind. So this is a very important criteria. So ultimately it boils down to feeling. And what journaling does is, journaling helps you to catch the feeling. It helps you to catch first it helps you to catch your words. Then it helps you to catch your thoughts. And by practice, you'll also be able to catch your feelings. I'll go slow. Now we'll go to the next journal. Blessing journal. Now this is the very, very important. This is the most important. That's why I kept it for the last. Now gratitude journal, unfortunately, has one limitation. It's all about I. I had this nice prasad. I'm grateful for this. Somewhere we start only thinking about ourselves. Although it is healthy because we are thanking Krishna, but spiritual life actually matures when we start exploring a reality beyond ourselves. We are actually insignificant. We mean nothing to this universe. And there is such a wonderful reality above and beyond us. When we start appreciating the world around us, others around us, like Mataji was saying, can we express gratitude to others? That's what we are coming now. Appreciating a world or a reality beyond us. This is called a blessing journal. What do we do here is, all of you know at least 50 people in this world, in your life, at least 50 people you know, right? So in blessing journal, we just write a name, any name, person you know. And next to that name, you write, again, a dash, you make a space. And then 2 words are common for every name. Krishna, please. And then you write a prayer. 1 sentence prayer, 2 sentence, 3 sentence, or if you want to write a paragraph, it's okay. But remember, this is not about you. This is not about you. This is about that person you are writing. I'll give an example, don't worry. I'll share what I do. But I'm first try to get the principle. The principle is, it's a prayer not for yourself. You're writing about someone else. You're wishing good for someone else. This is extremely empowering. You will feel the world is a beautiful place because you're wishing well for others. Because we are a product of blessings. I went through 2 or 3, I would say honestly, 2 major crises in my life. And when I look back, I feel I actually was in a smoldering pot of fire. I was in fire. And when I look back, I feel I have no scars. How come? Somebody has prayed for me. It's not possible on my own merit. So I decided, although I am nobody, I decided one day that, okay, let me start praying for others. Because so many people are praying for me. And when I started this prayer journal or blessing journal, offering a small blessing or a prayer for somebody else, I realized most of my problems got dissolved. Because, we are so much here. It's all about myself. Even when we pray for others, I remember initially the blessing journal, I would pray for others, but it was all about me. Like I would write a name. And then after the name, Krishna, please. Then I write a prayer for him. So I remember initially writing, Lalit Madhav Prabhu, dash. Krishna, please let him realize I am a very good person. So am I praying for him?
No.
So you got what I'm saying. So it's different. Like I'll read my today's blessing journal. Every day I write. So today, because day before yesterday I went for, day before, Dhruvanath, Krishna, yesterday, day before. Yeah, I got lost. Dhruvanath, Krishna and Harshna. Krishna, please let both of them have a happy married life. Let them always be emotionally together and spiritually nourished. Abhay and Shamli. Krishna, please let both of them touch 1,000,000 hearts with their soulful kirtans. Please protect their innocence and purity. Just doesn't take more than a minute for one name. Vinesh, Krishna, please let him be an instrument to help many devotees in ISKCON with his mental health healing skills. Siddheshwar Prabhu. Krishna, please give him many rich spiritual realizations. Let his spiritual activities bear fruit. Ambarish and Vinay. Krishna, please let both the boys be instruments of dynamic preaching and let them spread KC far and wide. 5 names. It will not take more than 5 minutes. But the impact it has, the whole day, our negative critical tendency, I was a very critical person for many years, very cynical, always finding faults with others. When I started this exercise, now my default setting is become to see good. It's such a big relief, Everybody has faults, but instead of looking at faults, I'm able to see good now, or at least wish good. So what Blessing Journal does is, it helps us get out of our own head, our own problems. In India, we have now this 10 rupee coin, which is big. If you take that coin and keep it close to your eyes during midday, noontime, and look at the sun, this coin has the power to block the vision of the sun. If you keep it close to your eyes, you can't see the sun. Now, what is the size of this coin compared to the sun? The sun is at least a quadrillion times bigger than this coin. But still this coin has the capacity to block our vision of the sun. Sun is compared to the vast goodness that exists in this universe. The wonderfulness, wonderful Krishna's mercy, wonderful Krishna, wonderful devotees. Such goodness exists. That's the sun. But my problems, my issues, my anxieties is like that 10 rupee coin. I keep it so close to my consciousness all the time. It's occupying my mind so much that I'm unable to appreciate the goodness. Does this make sense? Try this. See how, get out of your own space for some time. We live in the I space all the time. And we are unable to enter Krishna's space. But at least let us enter other space. They are all devotees of Krishna. They are children of God. If you start offering prayers, I remember last year, we went for this PS trip and there was one girl, British girl, she came first time and she had no idea about KC, and some devotees had met her at the bus stop and they told her we are going for a retreat, 10 days, retreat to New Mayapur, and she said, okay, I'll come along. So I was scared because I was told to speak on pure Ram Katha, Ramayana, and I was thinking, how will this girl understand? And 18, 19-year-old teenager, she just come, she has no idea about Ramayana and Krishna consciousness, and I said, I'm going to speak pure Ram Katha. I can't compromise for her. I can't filter it down to, So then they said, no, Prabhu, you go on, you speak your Ram Katha. But I was concerned for her. I didn't want her to get lost. So in my blessing journal, every day I was writing her name. For one line, Krishna, please let her not get bewildered. Krishna, next day, Krishna, please let her get some taste for Krishna consciousness. Something like that. She was one common name all the 7 days. Other names were changing depending on who was interacting with. So, last day I met her, she was dressed in sari. I was like, and she said, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I said, wow. and then I said, and then she said, Lord Ram is so amazing. I was so happy to hear that. Oh, I love Ramayana. I said, really? You like Ramayana? And then I said, you're okay with, because early morning, get up, we have Mangalarati. You're okay with the Mangalarati and all this? Wow, this is amazing, Prabhu. It's amazing. I love the way, you guys in ISKCON dress up a plant with skirt. It's so nice. She was talking about Tulsi Maharani's dressing we do in the morning, and we have the Tulsi Aarti. So she was fascinated by these simple things. And then 2 months later, I called Ram, who was the chairman of the Pandav Sena that time. I asked him, how is she doing? He said, Prabhu, she's coming now regularly for her weekly classes and she's chanting a few rounds. So I'm not taking any credit for her being a devotee. What I'm saying is, more than benefiting others, it has benefited me, praying for others, especially on their birthdays or some other time. Like day before yesterday was this marriage, today is the marriage of Dhruvnath Krishna. So I just wrote a prayer. Now, you may not even know this, but what I'm saying is, when we pray for others, that envy in the heart goes away over a period of time. And because of this envy, this is a big block because of which we are unable to connect with Krishna. Our head is not turning to the right side because the envy makes the mind's noise loud, loud, loud. Envy is extremely subtle, extremely subtle. In fact, when we are envious, we think others are envious of me. Envy is the reason why we are unable to progress spiritually. In the Bhagavatam describes, Daksha is about to make angry outbursts at Lord Shiva. He's going to curse Lord Shiva out of envy, and he begins by saying, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to now speak is without envy, please know. And then he starts. Nacha agyanam nacha matsarat. What I'm going to now speak is not out of envy. And what does he say? He says all blasphemous things about Lord Shiva. Only an envious person could say that. So envy is actually worse than lust. Lust at least makes you humble. You feel, oh, I'm lusty, Krishna, please help me. But envy makes you feel that I'm not envious. So appreciating others takes us out of ourselves. So can we do this? It's going to be a little difficult because we are used to only praying for ourselves. Can we do this? Is it difficult? Actually so difficult. One sentence at least for one person. But if you're inspired, you could write more. Any questions on this? There is a kartal. It's here. So if you have completed 5 names, you could write more till I play the kartal. Don't stop. So what is the rule here? What do? You write a name and then Krishna, please. See, it's natural for you to write a prayer for your daughter, son, father, mother. But see if you can go beyond those whom you really like. These are people you are attached to. It's natural. Like one of my brothers, he landed in trouble, so I was praying for him every day. That's natural. But can we pray for somebody who I'm not attached to on a blood relation, or somebody who? Okay, even if it's somebody you love, but something for that person, not for me. There's nothing. There should be nothing for me in that prayer. Because I want you to explore a reality beyond ourselves. Before you do this, just to give you to make you understand the power of this journaling, what you're going to do now, I'll give an example. So there is this friend of mine, Jigar. So during COVID, I was staying with my mother in my hometown. For 8 months, I was stuck there. I couldn't leave the place, and my mother was sick, so I was taking care of her. I was like living like a grahastha. Instead of a wife, I had a mother to take care of. And I was with my mother for 8 months, staying at home, taking care of her medical and all that, managing the house. But at one point of time, it was overwhelming. I couldn't manage. And because after 23 years, I was actually handling money, property. I had no experience. After 23 years, I was struggling. So one of my friends, he dropped everything and he came to help me. He stayed with me. So anyway, he stayed with me for a week. He helped me sort out a few things and he went back. Now, my gratitude journal could be something like this. Or when I'm expressing gratitude to you, like if I tell you about him, Jigar is so amazing. You know what Jigar did? I was so helpless. He helped me get the hospital bill sorted. And our electricity bills were pending for so many months. And you know what Jigar did? He did this. So I'm thanking him. But if you see, in my appreciation and gratitude, it's all about how he helped me. So I was telling a devotee about how Jigar is so wonderful. He's so nice. He's done so much for me. And then I decided, okay, let me pause. Let me change the gear. Let me now appreciate him as if I don't exist in this world, as if I'm not born in this planet. If I was not here, if I'm seeing from the skies, if I'm seeing from above the cloud, Jigar, independent of me, I will appreciate him. It was a struggle. But then when I began, so many amazing things came to me. Jigar is so amazing. Every year he goes to Gaya, performs the Pindu Tarpan for his ancestors. He loves his mother so much. His mother cooks for him breakfast, lunch, and he works 16, 17 hours a day, but he's so sensitive. On Saturday and Sunday, he treats his mother like a royal queen. He cooks for her breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I was appreciating. If you see what I'm doing now, I'm talking about Jigar. There's nothing about me here. Where he's working, how he's taking care of his mother, what he's doing, how educated he is. So this second level of appreciation is actually more powerful than the first level. But that doesn't mean the first level of appreciation is not good, because at least we are thanking, we are saying good. But we need to rise beyond ourselves to experience spiritual happiness. Is it clear to everyone? So you can recall your colleagues, friends, neighbors, maybe your college librarian. You can offer a prayer for anybody in distress. I have one friend in Delhi who is battling a cancer, who's gone through 12 rounds of chemotherapy. I know somebody in Mumbai whose brother has got a brain tumor. I know one of my very close friends, his wife has survived second time cancer. I'm sure all of you know somebody who's going through difficulties in life, financial troubles, diseases. What an amazing place this world would be if everybody was praying for each other. So I request you to do this exercise for 5 minutes. Okay, your time starts now. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you for doing all the 5 exercises. There are other types of journaling also, but that's not needed now. But these 5 techniques we discussed. Now I want to briefly discuss the philosophy of journaling, briefly, and then we can have, basically I want to discuss the prerequisites, like you can't just write journal and not do few things. Otherwise, journaling will not give you the benefits. So philosophy, first the philosophy and then the prerequisites. Philosophy of journaling is this. Why we are doing this? Because the goal of spiritual practice is what? Ultimately, to be able to connect divinity to our every moment living or everyday living in this world. If we can connect Krishna to our lives every moment, then our spiritual life is actually happening. I'll give an example. I spoke about this boy, Jigar, right? What did I say about him? First level of appreciation was how he has helped me so much. But I took it to the second level, where I appreciated him independent of me. But spiritual life is when I can take it to the third level. And what is that third level? Third level is to see how this boy Jigar, whatever good qualities I have seen in him, independent of my existence, those qualities are manifest in many ways in this universe also. Maybe in other people, other examples. Like, I was appreciating Jigar to my other friends at the second level. Oh, he's so good, so wonderful, he loves his mother so much, and what all he has done for his mom, and all those things I was appreciating. Suddenly I realized I could take it to the third level. I said, isn't this amazing? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also known as Matra Bhakta Shiromani, the greatest devotee of mother. And Srila Prabhupada dedicates his Krishna book to his father. So Jigar is following the footsteps of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. So next time when I saw Jigar, I felt I am seeing Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because I am seeing divinity in him. In one workshop I was doing in Phoenix, so there was, I didn't know this person. So one person said, I made a group and I was also part of that group discussion. So I would appreciate somebody at first level, then second level. And the third level, he appreciated this pujar. He was very elderly and he's struggling with poor health, but still he dresses the deities. Sometimes he's struggling so much, he takes a table and then he stands on the table and dresses the deities. And he does a lot of seva. So as he was speaking, then we went to the third level, third round. Third round was where we had to see goodness in the universe. The same quality which he is exhibiting is seen in someone else. So we were discussing together and I realized this pujari, whoever he is embodying the qualities of Gadadhar Pandit. Now the Gadadhar Pandit is a character from our scriptures. Those of you who have read the scriptures of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I could connect him to Gadadhar Pandit, who is a very worshipable expansion of the Lord. So next day I go to the temple and I see this devotee. I don't know he is that devotee. But when I see him and the exchanges we had, it was so spiritual. It was so, first time I'm meeting him, but I felt I'm seeing Gadadhar Pandit. I saw him as somebody embodying the divine qualities of the Lord. So when you appreciate someone, first at the level of I, then at the level of that person, second level, and the third level is appreciating that person in connection to the universe. Some character from Mahabharata or Bhagavatam or history, maybe Gandhi, Lincoln, anybody. How the universe embodies these qualities. So that's how we move from I to the other person and then to the Lord. The gratitude journal is extremely powerful in taking us on a journey to see divinity everywhere. When I did this in New Jersey, we made groups. So in the end, I asked any questions. So one man raised his hand and then suddenly he put it down. Then others were talking. And then again, he looked at that direction, again raised his hand, then again he put it down. I knew he wanted to say something, but he was not sure. So after the class, we had dinner, prasadam. He walked up to me and he said something amazing. He said, Prabhu, I'm so glad you did this because, my partner began to appreciate a person in our community whom I hate so much. But I had to keep quiet because he's appreciating him. It was his turn to appreciate. So I kept quiet. I didn't have to say anything. I thought, okay, maybe this fellow has got benefit because the first round is how this person has helped me. So I thought, okay, he may have been good to him, but that fellow is a very nasty fellow. I know him. I kept listening to him politely. But the second round, he began to speak about this person, how he has helped so many other people. So then I was a little shaken. And the third round was very challenging because even I had to participate and we had to see how this person is embodying qualities which are there in the universe. So I also had to see good qualities in him. And then he says, now I still find him nasty, but my anger and my hatred towards him has become little less. Because I didn't imagine he has so many good qualities. Once I did this for our senior leaders of our community. The ladies were sitting on one side, the men were sitting on this side, and it was a workshop. The ladies made their teams, the men made their, and all that was happening. So in the end, I asked, any realizations? So one lady, she raised her hand. She said, I was appreciating my husband to my partner. So there's another lady who was her partner. She said, I was appreciating my husband for one of very, very, very nice quality he has, which is, he has this intuitive power. He is able to understand many things. And I could never appreciate that earlier. But today in the discussion, I realized that he has this quality. And he would sometimes tell me, don't go for this social gathering or don't go for this party. You will not like it. Or you will be uncomfortable. And I would be angry with him for cursing me or being inauspicious, saying something inauspicious. And I would nevertheless go and I would get a bad experience. And then I would come back and then instead of thanking him or appreciating him for his foresight, I would tell him it is because of your curse that I had a bad experience. But today, and she went on, how today, Prabhuji, thank you so much for this exercise. Today, I began to appreciate this quality in my husband. And I was telling my partner that my husband is so nice. And, he actually has this good quality. And meanwhile, the husband is sitting on the men's side. And he's watching all of this. He's also hearing all this discussion going on. So then I said, Mataji, that's all right. But remember the third round. You are supposed to see divinity. Are you able to connect this quality of your husband to some special personality in the scriptures or something in the universe? So then she said, yes, Prabhu, in the third round, I realized that my husband is embodying the quality of Lord Shiva. Why? Lord Shiva, he told Sati not to go for her father's yajna. And he told her that you will have a bad experience. And she disobeyed him and then she had a bad experience. So then she's telling, Prabhu, in the third round, I realized because of the help of my partner, we realized that my husband is actually Lord Shiva. Wow. So then everybody laughed like you are laughing. But the biggest laughter came when the husband raised his hand. He said, Hare Krishna, I want to say something. I am so grateful. I am so glad that my wife can at last see me as Lord Shiva. But I have always seen her as Durga. Durga is fiery. So then everybody laughed. But it was very sweet. That whole exercise, so much of positive energy came out. So why I am saying this is how journaling elevates us from first focusing on self. In our social interactions also it's self, but then the other person, and then eventually seeing divinity. So this is a philosophy to move ahead. And I want to share one quote of Srila Prabhupada. This is a very important, this is my favorite. August 14, 1972, Los Angeles. Srila Prabhupada is giving a lecture on Brahma Samhita. This is the last part of the lecture, last 2 minutes. This is what he's saying. Listen to this carefully. Brahma is the first living creature appeared in this universe. And after his realization, he is offering prayer. Now, when I heard this, I also want to have realization, like Brahmaji. I also want to offer prayers filled with realization to Krishna. Right? We all want to have realizations, and we don't want to do bhakti just like mechanically. We want to have deep realizations, right? How can we get that realization? The very next sentence Srila Prabhupada says, I'm just reading it as it is. You also can get realization. Realization means you should write. Every one of you, what is your realization? What for this back to Godhead is? You write your realization. What you have understood, what you have realized about Krishna. This is required. Writing is required. It is not passive. Always you should be active. Whenever you find time, you write. Never mind 2 lines, 4 lines, but you write your realization. So emphatic. This is the last part of the class. And then he says, I was thinking, sometimes devotees think, how will writing help? Prabhupada is saying, write, you'll get realization. But still you may have a doubt. Is this, like long run? So Srila Prabhupada says writing will improve and increase our remembrance of Krishna. The last line he says, writing is Shravanam Kirtanam. That in Bhakti, those of you know, Bhakti has 9 limbs. Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran, like that. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, Shravan Kirtanam, writing or offering prayers, glories. This is a function of a devotee. You are hearing, but you have to write also. This is Srila Prabhupada's direct instruction. You are hearing, but you have to write also. Then writing means smaranam. What is smaranam? Anybody knows? Remembrance of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada is saying here, writing means smaranam. Remembering what you have heard from your spiritual master, from your scriptures. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Writing means remembering Krishna. Thank you very much. The class is over. So Srila Prabhupada, because many times, in ISKCON, there are very few devotees who do journaling workshops. And I remember once, at the Bhaktivedanta Manor, one lady, one of my very good friend's wife, she's a very thoughtful and very intelligent woman. And she respectfully challenged me. She said, Prabhu, isn't this self-indulgent? We are just writing and, we could be doing so many practical things. And that's what triggered me to search for scriptural evidences. And then I got this statement of Srila Prabhupada. I was jumping with joy. Then I called him and told him, give the phone to your wife. And I read this out to her. So journaling is actually smaranam, remembering Krishna. Now there are some prerequisites I want to share, and then we can open the floor for questions. 3 very, very important things. If we don't have this in our life, then journaling may not give you the best benefits. Because journaling is not an independent skill set. It has to be integrated and harmonized with our daily living. We should have 3 things. One is called sattva. Sattva means, anybody knows what is sattva? Goodness means basically, practically speaking, how do you know I am in sattva? How will you know if I am in sattva other than journaling? Good deeds. Clarity of mind. Sattva what is a sattva practice? Like prayer is one. Honesty, good for others, kindness, truthfulness, even things like, taking bath, taking a shower, eating healthy food, sleeping on time, getting adequate rest, leading a little slowed down life, basically not being passionate always, being little mode of goodness, sattva guna. Your clothes, your diet, your peace, basically a little peaceful in life, kind. So if sattva guna is not there, and you just, like for example, there are occasions when my day has been so passionate, so busy, and then I come and I open my laptop or my paper and pen, I write. Just can't write. Then I drop everything, then I do breathing exercises. Slow down. Because if you don't slow down our lives, no, I'm not saying slow down always and all the time. I'm just saying sabto guna hona chahiye. We need to take shower. Because shower itself removes a lot of clutter from the head. Eating proper food. Watch what you eat. If you're eating very unhealthy food, and then that disturbs the mind. And journaling will help cleanse, but it's like you're cleaning. It's like you're dousing the fire and again lighting. It's like it's not helping. Sattva is very important. Goodness is very important because that will enhance your journaling. That is one. Second, very important is what I call Sangha. Sangha means association, Sankirtan, Sadhana, all of that, because human beings are social animals. We can't take journaling as a tool to avoid human interactions. Because mind is so nasty, trust me when I say this, that even with lot of journaling and prayer journal, if you don't have good association, good friends to guide you, you could do disastrous things. Because it is human social interactions. I'm not saying you should be very friendly. If you're an introvert like me, you may not want to have a lot of social interactions. But just because you're an introvert doesn't mean you don't need anybody. Like I have another very, very close friend who's also an introvert. And he also needs this space. I also need my space. But we are in touch with each other, We send voice notes and we are happy. We do spend time with each other. But we can't avoid social interactions. That's not, because association is very powerful. Good association, I mean. Good association is extremely powerful, and that helps, again, journaling. You'll get a lot of more benefits from journaling. What is association? Okay, let me clarify what I meant by Sangha. Okay, sometimes we don't get association also. What I mean by association is 3 levels. First level is, you go for a party together, you take prasad together, you chill out, you relax, you enjoy with other devotee friends. So that is association. Second level of association is this, where you are hearing spiritual topics or discussing spiritual topics with each other. That is also association. Or helping each other, giving service to each other, taking prasad together, all that. Basically serving each other, hearing, chanting together, that is also association. That is a higher level of association than simply socializing. The first level of association is socialization. Second level of association is service-centered. Third level is what I'm talking about here. Association actually is when I'm internally in the mood of depending on others for their blessings. Like if I depend on your blessings, and I really, if I depend on blessing, I need your blessings, then I'm actually associating with you. That is Vaishnava mood. A devotee in Bhakti Yoga, we always hanker for blessings and goodwill of everyone. So if we have that mood, then journaling will be very powerful. That's what I meant by Sangha. Association, that mood of wanting blessings from everyone. Basically, I'm appealing to the inherent goodness. And when we have this mood, then we will hear scripture, which is a third important prerequisite for journaling. We need to have higher knowledge or higher wisdom from some other source to help us access our goodness through journaling. Otherwise, the mind will trick us. If we don't have access to spiritual knowledge, scriptural knowledge, then our mind will, Adolf Hitler wrote journals. So journaling without a conscience, journaling without guidance of scriptures or evolved people can make us Hitler. Because mind is very crafty. Hitler wrote Mein Kampf as a journal. And he has written some 7-8 books like this. And he was responsible for 6 million Jews slaughtering, Holocaust. So Stephen Covey, in his best-selling book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, writes, he advocates journaling, and he gives this caveat: journaling without a conscience can make you a Hitler. What basically I understood is, journaling should always what happens when I hear scriptures regularly is my intelligence gets purified. Otherwise, my intelligence is also contaminated. Intelligence is a servant of the mind. Mind accepts and rejects, and intelligence simply justifies what the mind likes and mind dislikes. So therefore, intelligence, to get purified, we need access to higher wisdom, that is scriptures, Bhagavatam. And then when you write journals, you know what will happen? You will feel, your soul will erupt. You know, it will come from the spiritual realm. This is what Srila Prabhupada wanted. When he was walking in California, there was a lake which was completely frozen because of the winter. And to the surprise of his disciple, Srila Prabhupada walked up to the lake with his walking stick and he started hitting the ice. And he broke that ice. And devotees were wondering, why is Srila Prabhupada doing something so queer? Why is he doing this? Srila Prabhupada looked at his disciple, smiled and said, you know, this is my job. And devotee said, what? He said, all of us conditioned souls are like water. Like water in its original state is liquid. But because of artificial imposition, there is an ice. Ice is an artificial condition of water. Srila Prabhupada said, similarly, in our natural position, we are pure servants of God. But because of the mind, intelligence, and ego, we have created so many barriers. So my job is to break all those barriers and allow you to come back to your original state. So journaling should help us reveal the real state, not increase and add more coverings. Therefore, please integrate journaling with the culture of Sattva, Sangha and scriptures, Shastra. If all three are there, this is a triangle: Sattva, Sangha, Shastra, and middle of the triangle is journaling. Then journaling will help, journal writing will help us blossom and evolve as a spiritually complete person. So these are some of my thoughts. Now I leave the floor open for questions and comments. But before that, I just want to summarize quickly. The first type of journaling, free writing, is where we write and don't stop. Second, awareness journal, also known as now journal, also known as putting thoughts on paper. That's where we write like a video camera is observing our inner world without judgment, and we can give a name to the mind, and the whole exercise is designed to separate our thoughts from ourselves. And the third type of journaling is called prayer journal, where we begin with prayer and then we switch between prayer and awareness and then come back to prayer. And we discuss how through prayer journal we can actually offer prayer at the level of the soul. Then a more evolved level of prayer journal is gratitude journal, which has three important criteria. Gratitude is specific, fresh, and answer to why. And then we also discuss how gratitude and appreciation are at three levels. First level is at the level of I. Second, centered on the other person. And then we connect to the universe or divinity. That's how we take our gratitude to the higher levels. And then we discuss the last type of journaling called as blessing journal, where what do we do? How do we write a blessing journal? We write a name and then Krishna, please, and then write a prayer for that person. And then this blessing journal helps us access a higher dimension of happiness. We'll touch a higher dimension of happiness. See, right now our happiness is centered on I. We don't know what it is to be happy, centered on. How many of us actually celebrate others' success? We can only celebrate our success. The day we can celebrate others' success and genuinely feel joyful for them, then we know that we are spiritually progressing. So blessing journal can take us there. After this, we discussed the foundation, the theory, based on Srila Prabhupada's two quotes. One was his lecture, July 5, 1971, where he says, the criteria of success in spiritual life is if we can feel Krishna is so nice, Krishna is so kind. And writing helps us access our feelings and catch the feelings and make it coherent. First, it helps us put words on paper. It helps us catch the words. Then it helps us catch our thoughts. It also eventually helps us catch our feelings. So that's Srila Prabhupada's July 5, 1971 lecture. Then the second is Prabhupada's August 14, 1972 lecture on Brahma Samhita, where he says, write. It's a writing lecture. So he says, realization, if you want, you should write. 2 lines, 4 lines, 6 lines. For the philosophical basis. After that, we ended by discussing 3 prerequisites. One is Sattva Guna lifestyle. Get up early in the morning. You take a shower, you write prayerfully. It's not a switch on, switch off button. It's integrated with the whole lifestyle. Second is Sangha. Association is also at 3 levels. One is simply socializing. Second is hearing and chanting, serving together. And third is depending on other people's blessings. Then we will naturally be humble. And in that humble state, journaling will also give us beautiful realizations. And the third is Shastra. Otherwise, we will become Hitler. Because we need higher intelligence. Our intelligence will corrupt us if it is not purified. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Now, I would like to hear from you. Hare Krishna. First, I want to take, I think you had a question, then we'll take your question. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Okay. When we were doing the awareness journey, when we were doing the awareness journaling exercise, I noticed that I was referring to myself as the mind and the mind as one. So sometimes I would switch. I would write, the mind is thinking this, and then I would, the next sentence I would say, and then I'm thinking this. Would you be able to share more about that and how we can?
These are teething problems. This is what happens initially because we are overthinking the whole thing. Because we are used to a lot of, we want clarity, we want structure. Actually, journaling is not like this. But because it is a workshop, I gave it different structure and different. Journaling is free flow. But then because then if I say okay, just write and one, you will be lost. So I gave it a structure. But ideally, it's not like. What you could do is, you could begin like this. My mind is saying. And then you put a comma and then inverted comma. That's how we write in English, right? We put an inverted. And then you continue writing whatever the mind is saying without again and again referring to the mind. We don't have to say it's a mind. You just keep writing that the mind is, you know that it's a mind. It's your thoughts. Put your thoughts on paper. Just put all your thoughts on paper and then read it as if mind has sent you that letter. This is what the mind has told you. You don't have to again and again read. Then you become very conscious. Then it becomes what is called as, Satyananda Maharaj calls it as paralysis by analysis. If you start analyzing too much, if it my mind, if it me, then it's the mind only. Because you would not be analyzing, you would be in a state of Satchidananda. You would be eternal, you'll be fully at peace. The fact that you are not peaceful, the fact that you are so conscious and so thinking, that means the mind has you in its vicious grip. So this is what you need to write. I'm so confused right now. My mind is saying, is it me? Is it you? No. So you basically you need to understand that all these, anytime you don't have clarity, anytime you are not peaceful, that means either it's a mind actually, constantly agitating you. So what I do is when it gets too overwhelming, I stop referring to Chanchal or Golum. I just write, I put 2 inverted commas and then the whole paragraph is dedicated to the mind. And then later on I read it. Wow, this is what you told me. Hare Krishna. Read the whole thing. There is a centipede. How many legs does the centipede have? 100. So the centipede was dancing. And an insect nearby saw the dance and said, wow, you dance so well, my dear centipede. But when you dance, your 64th leg comes in front of the 32nd leg. And your 34th leg is behind the 87th leg. How do you do it so well? The centipede said, really? And that was the end of his good dancing. Why? He started overthinking, overanalyzing. That's why I gave you a variety, menu card 5. So you mix all the 5, or I actually mix. Actually, I haven't shared, but sometimes when I'm traveling in the airport, sometimes I sit. I sit. I get a spot and I write for 2-3 hours sometimes, and everything it's like a khichdi. Everything is combined. And when all the types of journaling combine, that effect is something spectacular. It's like you have, Ronaldo, Messi, Harry Kane, Mbappe, all of them in the same team. What will happen? Mbappe, is that how you pronounce? You are also innocent, you don't know anything about football. All the great football players in one team, what will happen? It will be, or all cricket batsmen, Virat Kohli, Babar Azam, Steve Smith, all in one team, what will happen? So that's how it is. When I mix all the journals and I free flow, that's the best. But because you are just being introduced to the journaling, so I'm telling you, okay, try this. But ideally follow your heart. Just whatever inspires you on a day. Sometimes what I do, I'm writing and I stop the writing. I take out my laptop and I write a whole long letter to some devotee whom I really like or I appreciate. And then I send that email. And I feel, it was better than writing a journal that day, because that was also writing. Or I've heard a class. Yesterday I heard a class. So today I'll just take out my... Oh, I didn't get that. I have another book for scriptural journal, where I write what I learned from some classes. And that's so amazing. When I'm writing, I remember something else from some other class connected to that, or something else, and my own examples from some past. And then in the end I see, what is this? Where did it come from? Some of the best classes I have given, when devotees have appreciated me, when I look back, those seminars and classes were not from some textbook or it was a digested knowledge and which came out through my journal. And when I presented, like I have one seminar called 8 Ways to Cope with Mental Offenses. And that, one day when I was writing my journal, free flow, suddenly the first point came up. And at one point of time, I was shocked. Where is it coming from? I was also amazed, but I kept writing. And at one point of time, my fingers were paining, excruciating, because I was writing for 3 hours or something. But I was laughing. I was happy. I was writing, and it all came out on paper. And then when I made it into a PowerPoint presentation, and devotees were so happy, and they asked me, "Where did you get this from? Who did you hear?" I felt, I don't know. Maybe it's definitely heard from so many people, but it all combined into a structured 8 steps. He is also right. He doesn't know what is right. Like that, there are some 8 sutras. And now I'm also amazed by that. So like this, there are few seminars which have come up because of journaling, free flow journaling. So I would suggest, don't overthink. Just write. Hare Krishna. Little later, is that okay? I'll just take 2 more questions. First, I'll take your question, then Mataji's question. Is that okay? I'll come back to you. Dhaval, I'll come back to you later.
Roji, I wanted to ask, because journaling was not taught in ISKCON to us from the very beginning, our daily life, sadhana life, citation, or just read.
If you speak loudly without the microphone, I'll repeat your question.
So, my question is that because we are not used to journaling, and because we didn't start this as a sadhana in our daily lives, how do we go about starting this whole journey so that it's sustainably maintained over a long period of time?
Okay, now already you have enough obligations and duties to perform, like 16 rounds. And so many other obligations, home, office, and a new one is added. The last thing I want is this also to become a burden. So what I suggest is, okay, let us forget journaling, forget the whole workshop. I'll ask you a question. Is there anything at all in your life which helps you connect deeply to yourself and God? If you have some process in place, then dive deeper into that and forget journaling for good. Relax. What I want you to do is, I want you to because when you relax, relaxation is extremely powerful, and it's a very, very bad word in ISKCON. If I say relax, people think I'm telling you to be lazy. What I mean by relax is connect. When you relax, you can connect. So if you can connect to God through maybe, I know a brahmachari who loves knitting, and I've seen only Mataji's ladies do that, but he loves it because that helps him connect, and that helps him become peaceful and relaxed, and he does it for the Lord. I know one brahmachari who loves to do deity worship. He somehow struggles to complete his 16 rounds in the evening, but he can be with the deities the whole day. I know somebody who loves kirtan, somebody, and I like journaling. So, and because you came for my class, you gave me a forum, I'm presenting this. But more than you writing a journal, I want you to be connected to some practice which helps you to connect to yourself. That's more important. So don't make this as another obligation, another burden. Because relaxation, when you're relaxed, relaxation is extremely powerful. Huh? It heals and it also reveals. For me, writing heals and writing reveals. So for you, maybe it is chanting which heals and reveals. For me, chanting is a duty. I feel I love Krishna. I promised my spiritual master I should perform this duty. And I do it sincerely because when I was growing up, I saw my mother cook for me every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Even when she didn't want to, even when she was angry, she would do that because she wanted me to be healthy. So I feel if my mother was doing that for me, now I should do it for Krishna. I promise Krishna that I'll chant. So sometimes I'm happy chanting, sometimes it's a drag, but I nevertheless do it as a duty. But I know where to go for my shelter. So then I have a japa journal also. So what happens? So japa is very important, but my heart is not in japa as much as writing about japa. So this is a japa journal. After my japa, I wrote a japa journal. Japa is all about coming back to Krishna. As I softly chant on my beats, my mind wanders and I don't even realize my Chanchal's shenanigans as she has field day at my expense. I'm so far away from Krishna, but she cares less. As I slowly pull the counter down, at a certain point, awareness meets me. I'm aware. Suddenly, I recognize Chanchal's absence in the japa. That point of awareness helps me come back to Krishna. Krishna, I belong to you. I say this with feeling. Krishna, I now come back to you. Last 20 minutes of japa, I was in the material world, busy with its problems and solutions. But now I come back to your world. I seek your love, your shelter. Thank you, Krishna. This was my japa journal for the day. So this is nourishing me more than the japa. But japa is a duty, I know somebody else, he just can't write a journal, but he can chant the whole day. So I would suggest don't get too stressed by this. I was hoping you would all come here with an open mind, not to become a journal writer every day, but just to learn. I also attend a lot of seminars and workshops. I don't necessarily do all of that what I hear. Because you gave me a forum, I'm sharing what's close to my heart, if it appeals to you. And because many devotees approached me in the past, so next month I'm going to start an online fortnightly class. We are calling it as, I forgot, Journal Discussion Sangha. We are starting a whole group. There's a whole team which has promised me they're making a whole system. So every fortnight, we are planning to have 1 hour of discussions on the science of journaling and the realizations I get from a journaling, which many times I cannot speak in a conventional Krishna conscious forum. Like yesterday, I spoke 2 hours, 1.5 hours on the importance of relaxation for devotees. But the audience I was speaking to, I realized later, was not ready for it. They couldn't appreciate because their needs was something else. They got a little insecure when I spoke about relaxation. So then I realized, because that had come out of my journal. But then I realized, they were not ready for it. But I'm going to create this group soon, where I'm going to speak some of the realizations I get from my journal, and then I'm going to have discussions based on it. So if you are interested to be part of it, I don't know how we can connect. You can visit my website, yogaformodernage.com, or you can check out Vraja Bihari Das on Google. You'll get my website, and there we're going to announce about this. And then if you want to be part of that, you could be part of it. So Prabhu, answer to your question is relax. Hare Krishna. So wait, Mataji first, and then you. And then I saw Prabhu's hand, then you are. Is that okay? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you can do that also. Yes, please. Please. Yeah. That's a detail. What I said, a name was a detail. But you could add a proper noun and common noun. Both can be there. Just see that it is not impersonal. There has to be, you have to connect your emotions, you have to connect your feelings. Remember what Srila Prabhupada's definition of success in spiritual life is. We need to feel. We need to feel that love of Krishna. We need to be that via media of Krishna's love and Krishna's compassion. You need to touch that space of compassion. Blessing journal is all about compassion, feeling for others. So if you can enter that space of feeling for that person or the group of people, then that's wonderful. Okay, thank you. Yes, Mataji, you had a question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much. Humble obeisance to you. My question is based on the awareness. You said to separate yourself from your mind and then to write for 5 minutes. So I was trying that, but I couldn't write for 5 minutes. I had to stop because I actually didn't have anything more in my mind. But you said keep writing.
That's because, yeah.
So how do you keep writing even if you're empty?
Don't write. That's why I did the third journal, prayer journal. What you do is, when there is nothing else, the mind is saying, that means you are at the right time, you are at the right spot to connect to Krishna. That means, when you are writing what your mind is saying, your head is turned left and you are listening to the mind. But when the mind, when the mind is not saying anything, when there's nothing to say, that means the mind has stopped speaking. Then don't keep looking at the mind. The mind has nothing to say because you have nothing to do with the mind. Your relationship is with Krishna. That's when you turn and say, Krishna, I love you. Krishna, I want to do this for you. Krishna, please help me. Whatever prayer, whatever you write then would be the voice of the soul. That would be your voice. Till then, it was your mind's voice. So when you're going blank, you have nothing, mind has nothing to say. That means congratulations. Prabhu told me during the break that the whole time he wrote without his mind troubling him, he could write his heartfelt prayer. I said, great. And he said, will this be every day like that? I said, no, that I cannot guarantee. Today it was like that. It was like a cricket batsman scoring a century on his first match, debut. So first day he has done great job, but tomorrow mind is crafty, mind will come back and mind will, influence him. Mind will say, you are so good, you are so connected to Krishna. Mind will keep talking. The pride will come, I am so good. This is what identity is merged with the mind. Mind will say, you are so good, you write journals so well, you are the best devotee of Krishna, and you are so humble also. All the good qualities you have, humility is your best quality. You are the most humble man in the universe. Oh, mind can say so many things, you will be amazed. So, it's fun. It's a adventure, it's like, you don't get angry at a point of time. Generally, we're very disturbed with our mind. Oh, mind is troubling me. No, but when you see the mind for who he is, you don't get disturbed. You are happy in life because you know who you are. You know you are small, but you are at peace with yourself. You are authentic. You are, this is who I am. Is that okay? Wait, I'll come back to you, but I'll take your question first. Yes.
I was thinking, once you're done with writing a journal for the day, what do you do out of it? One is that we can read on a regular basis. One is that we can keep it for some later years or we can throw it.
Yeah. It's a good question. What do you do with the old journals? I struggled a lot because as a brahmachari, I have limited space, one locker, and then I got a room, but my room was only filled with paper, journals. So then I started releasing them, throwing them. Then what I generally do is at the end of the year, the first week of January every year, I take out the last year's journal and I go through all of that, and something is striking, then I keep it aside. So let's say in a year, I write around say 550 to 600 morning journal. So then maybe I get 150, 200 pages where there is something which I can share with the world. So now what I've done is a new thing. After I write my journal in the morning, I spend 2 minutes extra and I read it immediately. And if something striking is there, I underline it. And if there is some sentence which I feel is a voice of Krishna, which I know clearly is not, it's not come from the mind, then I make a star there. So then what I do is at the end of the year, I just go through the star signs and I get all the things that Krishna has told me. So then I don't have to save all the paper. And then now one of very generous friend of mine in Mumbai, he has promised to PDF, what is that? Scan it, all of that, and give me. And he promised me he'll not read them, so I trust him. Like this is just today's journal, you know. Today I got 2 sentences in my journal. After the journal, I realized there were at least there were 2 sentences which was clearly not mine, which was clearly from another dimension. So I made a star. I can't share that, unfortunately. There's one more. No, very good. You know, it was amazing. Yeah, I heard one sentence. I was writing journal that yesterday I had skipped chanting Mangalacharan before one class. Mangalacharan is a prayer we invoke for blessings. So I had forgotten. I didn't even realize that. But when I was writing my journal, suddenly I heard a voice. You should chant Mangalacharan before every class. So I wrote it down and I put a star. You know, like that.
So is that Krishna speaking?
I felt it was Krishna's voice. I could hear. It was a soft, slow, and detached voice. I immediately caught it and I wrote it. I put a star there. See, it's very haughty on my part to say that I hear Krishna's voice. Please know I'm struggling and I don't want to disappoint you more. I've got a lot of skeletons in my cupboard. I don't want to take it out. Because anyway, you are suffering in your life. Why should I tell you my suffering? Let us empathize with each other. But I am honestly speaking, with all my frailties and flaws, I would say I love myself. Although I've made many mistakes. Once I was writing a realization and I got this amazing 3 sentences. I felt Krishna told me, and that day I felt forgiven, accepted, loved, and I wrote it down on a paper and put it in front of my board, on my table, on my notice board. And every day morning I see it. And these 3 sentences have become like my most important Maha Mantra. After Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it says, I am a Vanaprastha. No, I'll tell you, this is how it is. I am a Vanaprastha by nature, a Brahmachari by choice. Vanaprastha by nature means I am more like, a family person. And I am 51. So at the age of 45, 50, people generally take Vanaprastha. They leave their household life. I like to be with families. I like to be with children. I like to give love to children. I like to spend a lot of time with children. I do most classes for children only now. I'm in London, but I'm taking classes for the children in Mumbai. And they're so happy with me. So I love to be with children, and I'm like I connect emotional level more. If I was a sannyasi, then I would have only spiritual bonding with people, no emotional bonding. So therefore, I realized, so this is the realization I got. So I've written on my diary, I'm a Vanaprastha by nature, a Brahmachari by choice. Second, I make mistakes, but I am not a mistake. This is very.
You're not blaming yourself, is that right?
No, don't analyze it too much. Let me complete. Let me complete about the realization I wrote. I am a Vanaprastha by nature, a Brahmachari by choice. I am not pure, but I am sincere. I make mistakes, but I am not a criminal. I am not a mistake. So when I see these sentences, I feel loved. I don't know from which source, from where I feel loved. I feel accepted. Oops, it's not my paper, no? I feel loved, accepted, forgiven. I feel I belong to Krishna, and I feel Krishna is telling me, don't worry, I'm there. We all are looking for reassurance, right? So when I see these sentences, I feel I'm reassured. I feel these sentences were spoken by Krishna to me. I'm sorry for. I hope you don't misunderstand me. It's like an affirmation, but I feel this affirmation was revealed to me. So when I see this, I feel at peace with myself. Yeah, when I see this, I made mistakes, terrible mistakes. I make mistakes, but I'm not a criminal. I'm not a mistake. I'm not pure. Okay, fine, but I'm sincere. And yeah, I may not be a sannyasi or a guru. Okay, but I may not be a pure devotee, but yeah, I'm a Vanaprastha by nature. I know that. Initially, for many years, this happened 10 years ago. So in my diary, I used to write, I'm a Grahastha by nature, Brahmachari by choice. So one day I spoke it in a class, some people got bewildered. So then I felt, no. They think, how can you say you're a Grahastha by nature? So immediately they get, in India, people don't appreciate, I would say honesty. Yeah, I was honest, but they get bewildered, poor fellows, I feel sorry for them. They think there is something wrong with you. So, but West, they're more, they don't care. Yeah. Okay, so is that okay? Where was? Yeah, I'll take your question first, and then yours, and then yours. Is that okay, Mataji? Yeah.
Thank you so much for your work. I was actually thinking how currently I journal, but obviously I try to just use it as a means to process my thoughts and emotions, especially if things happen in life. Then to process the thought, the emotion behind it. But I'm thinking how can I connect or use those emotions at that moment to connect it to the divine.
At that moment?
Or in the process of journaling, I feel like that what I'm doing now is more like splitting it out, making sense of what is going through. But how can I connect it to the divine?
So, if I understand correctly, you are more analytical as you're writing a journal?
When things happen,
Yeah. So, analysis as limitations. So, to some extent, it's okay, but at some point of time, you can give up the analysis and start awareness journal. You can just write how your mind is. See, if you've gone through some painful experience, for example, what I do is, this is what I do. I was sharing with someone in the break. Just write that, Hare Krishna. Just write that event which has caused you an extreme emotion or whatever. Write that event in 3 lines or 4 sentences. And then write about the story your mind is telling you about it. And you will be amazed by how the mind can make a mountain out of a molehill. See, the world is designed to give us challenges, but somewhere deep within, we are conditioned to expect the world to give us comforts. So what happens is, the challenge becomes more debilitating, more painful because of the stories we tell ourselves. Oh, I didn't deserve this. I should have got more love. So then if you just put those stories on paper, you will be amazed by how the mind is so demanding, so stubborn. So the painful experience and what the mind has made out of it, that separate the two. And emotions, and analyzing the emotions is not healthy because see, it's okay to some extent, but there are so many things beyond us. Because analysis is also an activity of this analysis is actually coming from, okay, I want to share something with you. This analysis that we do of our thoughts and of our events, that is a voice of the mind, but it is not the mind of the mind. Let me clarify what I'm saying. Mind as a voice, but mind as its own mind. I'll tell you what I mean. When you talk to someone, you may express some joy, and that person may think you're happy talking to him or her. But all of us have been in a situation where we have spoken something but thought something else. Like you may be not happy with that person, but you may have said, "How are you? I'm so happy to see you." Is it possible that we speak one thing but we feel another thing? It's possible. So many times, like you may know something about me from what I've spoken in the last 2 hours, but you don't know me completely. You don't know what I'm thinking, but you know me by my words. Similarly, the thoughts that we write on paper, this is a thought I'm getting. This is what the mind is speaking. But you just continue to write it without judgment, and then one day suddenly, at one moment, you suddenly realize, oh, this is nothing. The feeling, the most fluid aspect of the mind you will touch. The most fickle part of the mind, which is the actual essence, which is the deep state of the mind. It could be fear, it could be insecurity. When you touch that, you got self-realization. You are like, okay, this is what it is. The mind has Mind is very fearful, but it's putting up a brave front. Be positive. You know, so many thoughts you get. You just keep writing. It's like in a relationship. One Prabhuji was telling me, I don't know how Grahastha life works, but this is what he told me. That his wife was disturbed about something, and he said, I taught empathetic skills, you know, from Stephen Covey's Fourth Habit. I taught him some things. So he said, I practiced it. I was listening to my wife. She was saying so many things. I kept doing two things. I said, rephrase the content and reflect the feeling. So he kept doing that. And then he said, Prabhu, in the end, what she said, after the whole discussion, the real issue was something else, completely something else. She was disturbed. She was angry that I'm coming late from office. But the actual issue that landed up after half an hour of she telling me everything, the real issue was that she's not able to get a break because she's having so much of work at her office and also at home, and she wanted to go to her parents' place and she's not getting a chance to go. That was her issue. But it came out as initially anger at my not coming home on time. So he said, Prabhu, I realized that my wife's real issue was something else. And what she told me was something else. I said, this is exactly how the mind works. If you keep writing on paper what your mind is saying, one day after some days you will realize, ye to kuch bhi nahi tha, that was something else. And when you catch that, you won't be angry with the mind. You will be at peace, because that's actually healing. That's how journaling can heal depressed people. Because you know, when you go to an expert psychotherapist, he can heal you. He can help you understand what you've gone through. He can know in 10 sittings. He can draw out your childhood pattern, what all has happened, and he can explain to you. But journaling may take more sessions. It may take 25 sessions. But journaling, what it does is it also heals. It helps you to connect to your self, soul. So then you become peaceful at your whatever you have gone through. You feel this was ordained, or this has nothing to do with me because I am not this. That's how you evolve. That's how journaling is more powerful than any other form of emotional healing. But because I don't have statistics or data, or I'm not a professionally trained expert in the science of journaling, all that, so I cannot advocate this as a substitute for professional help in case of those who are depressed. But I have gone through my own immense challenges, and for me, journaling has pulled me out of it. So that's how I would answer your question. Sometimes these emotions or thoughts are simply the mind's blabbering. That's not the real you. The real chitta will be exposed one day. It will come out. So I'll end. Before I take your question, I just want to say one thing. Words have voice, right? What I've spoken now can be recorded in a phone and you can play it. What I've spoken, you can catch it easily. It has a voice. Even thoughts have voice. So the phone can record my speech and play it later. The journal can record your thoughts and play it later. Otherwise, our thoughts, you will not be able to catch the voice of your thoughts. And if you continue journaling, then one day, the voice of your feelings will be revealed to you. It's not that you catch it. It's revealed. Some things we do, but some things you don't attain it. You allow it to be revealed to you. In chanting, enthusiasm is what you practice, and love of Krishna is what is given to you. Taste in holy name is given. Enthusiasm is what we practice. Similarly, to know exactly your suffering, what you have gone through from childhood, or what your deepest fears of the mind is, or the childhood patterns are, all that will be revealed to you. Over a period of time, my whole life has come clear in front of me. What happened to me in my childhood, I grew up with my grandparents, how did my grandparents raise me? My grandfather was a very God-fearing but very diffident person, how he influenced me, and how I inherently had some spiritual aspirations. The combination, the whole thing, it's not that I was thinking about it and writing. These things are not attained, these things are revealed. And one day, the whole cinema, the movie of my life came flashing. Oh, this is what has happened. Oh, I'm a spiritual seeker. I don't have to be ashamed of it. I was looking for God. But I have been influenced by many fears, influence of my grandfather, influence of my father, my mother, how they influenced me, how my teacher in school influenced me, what she did to me. So many things just flashed. Now I know, I won't say I'm sorted, but at the age of 51, I feel journaling has been my companion who has been my emotional healer, who has helped me understand what my deep-rooted fears are and what my insecurities are, and how I'm still able to be at peace with myself. So I would suggest don't give so much importance to the thoughts, because that's not the actual mind. Is that okay? Sorry, I took a long time to answer. Yes.
Thank you very much for
And-
your-
okay.
Sorry, ready?
Yeah.
Thank you for your very enlightening talk. I was thinking of 9 processes of devotional service, leading to Prema Bhakti in there. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and says, yeah, there's a simpler way in this Kali Yuga. Just chant,
Hare
but
Krishna.
it has to be pure chanting.
Yes.
And if Prabhupada say 99.9%, that's the end game,
Yes.
you'll be there, self-realized. Now I'm wondering about journaling. There is a 10th process, if I may say so, that there is a way out of this difficult process of 9-process journey, that you can actually carry on this journey process until you get your stage when you're so absorbed in Krishna, because the final stage, as you say, is spiritual journalism. And that is a realization of Krishna, purity in your devotion, material life abandoned. So there's a possibility you could be self-realized through that process as well.
Journaling?
Forgetting all other processes. And the ultimate result, I don't know what stage this journaling could lead to finally.
Journaling will help in self-awareness. Self-realization is mercy. Self-realization is, it's like, you make a pizza, you put all the stuff on it, olive, this, that, and, artichokes, cheese, all the things, but it has to be baked, right?
Yeah.
Finally. So journaling is like all the things you've made ready. That is self-awareness, but self-realization is when the actual baking happens. Realization is mercy, it's grace. For some it is through journaling, for some it is through chanting. How Krishna will reveal his grace, we don't know. Bhakti, spiritual perfection is not attained, it's not achieved, it's received. So we are Bhakti path, we are beggars, we receive it. So for some it is received through smaranam, for some it is received through shravanam, kirtanam, padasevanam, archanam, vandanam. So I cannot claim that just keep writing journals and everything will be sorted. No. That's why I said it is not independent of Sangha, Sattva and Shastra. Otherwise, mind can trick us. Oh, I'm a self-realized great yogi. Hitler was so crazy. Hitler's right-hand man, Heinrich Himmler, he went around saying that Hitler is Krishna and I am Arjuna. In fact, Pakistan government, Pakistan's army, Pakistan and India, they're unfriendly neighbors. So Pakistan's army's website has this whole description because they want to say how India, Hindustan and Indians are all nasty. The ethos is, there is a fundamental flaw in their ethos. So they say, Bhagavad Gita is bad and all that. So they say Hitler is said, So what I'm saying is, when you write journals and you don't have Sangha, Shastra, Kripa, there's no limit to it.
The starting point in your journaling is that when we do get on this process, one has to be one has to have the right attitude for the start. That I'm doing this for Krishna, for his pleasure.
Exactly.
Not for my own.
Yes. Perfect.
Developing my own skills in journaling.
Yes.
So that process has to be the very fundamental.
Fundamental.
The starting of this. Every time you start writing.
Yes.
Otherwise,
it's not going to. Perfect.
And those people who are the 6 Goswamis, one doesn't know if they are journalists to start off.
They all wrote so many books.
They wrote so many books. But
So
they
many
are
books.
authors.
They're authors, spiritual authors, so many.
How would you say that writing contributed very substantially to their realization?
That Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj's whole podcast on writing, how our whole parampara is of writing. I don't remember the details, but he gives so many examples. Keshav Maharaj, if you see on YouTube, there is one podcast on journaling. And there are many actually, he has spoken many, and he himself has been writing, and he's given a whole presentation on how so many of our Goswamis have written so many books and how it's all part of journal and all that is there.
So it does lead you, this can lead you to that.
Yeah, this will lead you to contribute to spiritual literature. But yeah,
Thank you.
our parampara is of writing. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you because when we were doing the awareness method, I found that I was doing a lot of talking about my feelings, more like it's warm today, it's hot in the room, I can do the trees are, the wind blowing. Is that a departure from the awareness method? Or is
No, it's the same. It's similar. It's similar. Just continue that. Things will crystallize, and you will be able to recognize. See, it's okay if you're feeling cold, warm, all that. The whole idea is we need to come to a stage where we can recognize the life alienating feelings. Not all feelings need to be. You don't have to always be aware. You don't always have to be like, okay, this is my mind speaking. You don't have to become so worked up. But what happens is, by this practice, eventually when you get, there are life enhancing feelings, life alienating emotions, and things that are that make us uncomfortable. You'll be able to catch them faster. So just keep writing whatever you're feeling or whatever your mind is saying. Just keep writing. Sometimes you may be confused whether it is the mind saying or whether it is a feeling. But just separate it from who you are. You are not any of this. You are the soul. So right now the mind is feeling, I write like this, when I'm writing, I say, the mind is feeling cold now. Although it's I who am feeling cold, but I just like to say any thought, any feeling I get, I separate it from myself. Because I am Sat Chit Ananda, I am none of this. Okay? Yes. Is it okay if we take this as a last question? Okay. 2 more questions. Okay, after her question.
Thank you so much. You gave us so many positive techniques for journaling. I really appreciate that. But is there a possibility, or is there a danger zone while journaling that you just tend to listen to your mind and kind of get into that habit and that vicious cycle?
That's why I said that happens. That happens if we are not connected to scriptures. Today morning, my Guru Maharaj gave a class in Mumbai, Chowpatty. So although I had a busy day's hectic schedule, I put 2x speed and I heard that class. I heard my Guru Maharaj because what happens if I need to hear every day something from somebody higher than me, some wisdom. Otherwise, I can't trust my mind. See, if you are hearing or reading scriptures regularly, then our intelligence is purified. Then you can trust yourself. Then don't be afraid. Krishna will protect you. Because in the 10th chapter, Krishna says, Tesham Tada Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam. If you are sincere, I will give you the intelligence. So don't be afraid. Don't be so diffident. You have it in you, But without Krishna, without higher intelligence, mind can play havoc. But if you are connected to devotees and scriptures, then trust yourself. Krishna will protect you. Don't be so scared. Don't be so scared. Okay? We'll take a last question. Yes, thank you. Roman? Okay. Yes.
Thanks so much for the nice talk. I just had a quick question. I know you're encouraging a lot free writing to get those revelations. Now in my journal, I have like a few sets of questions which I go through to give me some more self-awareness and see how Krishna works in my day. I'm just wondering, what's your thoughts on that? Like having pre-written questions which you go.
Oh yeah, that's excellent. In fact, that's one of, I'll repeat, he's saying I have some questions and I answer them as a part of my journal. So he's asking about that. Now, I didn't have time to speak about other type of journals. I spoke only about 5 journaling, but there's one called question answer journal. This is an amazing thing. You could try it later. One day, you take out some time, go to some garden on a bright sunny day, sit somewhere with your notepad, just write random 30 questions that you need answers for. Those 30 questions could be something like, what is the goal of my life? See, generally, when these questions are asked, there's a public response and a private response to every question. Why do you chant Hare Krishna? Because it is the religious duty for this day and age. That's a public response. Why do you chant Hare Krishna? That's a private response to it. So ask these 30 questions, like what is my relationship with my father? Or what does money mean to me? Something like that. What are my 3 most important values in life? Like you write down 30 questions and keep those questions with you. And then start, let's say you have 30 questions ready today. Tomorrow begins the first day of your question answer journal. You take out your alarm, set that alarm for 15 minutes, take out the first question, answer the first question, and do free writing of the first question. And as the alarm goes off, stop. Close the journal. Next day morning, pick up the second question, put the alarm for 15 minutes, write the answer. When the alarm goes off, close the journal. Third day, so what happens at the end of 30 days? We have answered all 30 questions. And now begins the best part. 31st day, you again pick up the first question, again do the same ritual, put the alarm, write the answer, and when you've finished, then pause, close the journal, but don't put it away like you did the first time. Go back to the journal entry which you made 31 days ago when you answered this first question for the first time. And read that answer, then compare that answer with the answer you've written now. Sometimes the answers would be same, but you will be amazed how some of the answers would have changed. And that would reveal to you how journaling has removed a lot of clutter from your head. You will be amazed. This will be a discovery. This is a self-discovery you would make, and you would be amazed. I made this discovery, and then I did 3 rounds of the 30 questions. At the end of the 3rd round, I was so amazed. I kept all the 3 answers with me and I would keep reading it many times. And I was amazed at how I evolved. For this is question answer journal, Prabhu. I encourage this. Okay, Roman Prabhu? I would like to end with one example, a recent example, which may convince you the power of journaling in giving you ability to separate yourself from your thoughts. How many of you have stood in front of the deities and offered a prayer? Okay, now be honest. How many of you, when you are offering prayers to the deities, you begin maybe saying, Krishna, I love you, Krishna, I have this problem, please help me. And then as you're standing, your mind has wandered all over the world. Right? And then you realize, oh, I have to go now. And then you feel, I didn't really pray. It happens, right? But one day what happened, because of the journaling practice, when I was praying to the Lord in front of the, I was, at the end of the prayer session, although my mind was wandering, I had this tremendous degree of awareness that I knew what I prayed. I knew how my mind was doing the talking, and I could recall everything my mind said. Generally, when our mind wanders, the mind is so fast. Like when you write this awareness journal, I don't know if you realize, when you write awareness journal, the mind is now saying this. When you keep writing, sometimes what happens? Before I complete the sentence of what my mind is saying, my mind has jumped to 5 other topics. It has happened? You can see how fast the mind is. In fact, sometimes when I'm writing what the mind is saying, I forget because the mind has said so much. That's how you realize the mind is so powerful and mind is so fast. But journaling can help you slow down the mind to such an extent that one day when I was praying in front of the deities in our temple, Radha Gopinath, I was standing like this and I began like this. Radha Gopinath, you are so nice. You are dressed so beautifully today by Prem Kishore Prabhu. And please help Raj. He's going through a divorce. He's such a nice devotee. Now this is how I began my prayer. This is my voice. But as I told you, the traffic noise, the kartal noise is loud. So the mind began to then speak. So it appeared as if, externally it appeared to everyone as if I am standing and praying. But it's the mind now speaking. My voice has been drowned. And what is the mind saying? Oh, Raj's divorce. His wife is responsible for it. She's so stupid. And she looks exactly like that lady, in London. She's also divorced your friend. I have another friend in London who also went through it. Raj's wife looks exactly like her. And even in that relationship, it's the wife's fault. I'm just telling you what the mind, and then the mind is saying, oh, and she looks exactly like your Bobby. Remember your Bobby? She died in a bike accident. And she was carrying her child. And the child was not wearing the helmet, but he was safe, and she was wearing the helmet, but she died. The bike drivers are treated very callously by the bus drivers in India. And remember that bike accident that happened outside the High Court where the driver's body was smashed beyond recognition? And remember 2 years later outside that High Court you saw a man running with a dragger? This is all happening. I'm externally standing in front of the deities and offering a prayer for Raj and his wife so that they don't get divorced and so they're happy. And where has my mind gone? First it has gone to London, which is 9,000 miles away. It takes me 10 hours of flight journey, but in 1 microsecond my mind reached London. Then now it has gone to 1996. It has gone back in time to the outside the High Court where I saw a man running with a dragger. So the mind is saying, remember that man running with a dragger? Outside that High Court, dragger soaked with blood. That was exactly like the scene from that movie where the hero runs with the dragger. Remember that movie you had gone to watch with Prem, Raj and 5 other friends? Oh, that fellow is in Dubai, that fellow is in US and US. And finally came to Prem, I came to London, I came to DT and then realized, oh, where am I? Where did I travel? In those 10 minutes, my mind had traveled the whole world. It had traveled to past, future, judgments, everything. And then I'm again here. And one devotee comes and says, Prabhu, you are so prayerful. You're praying to the deities. I'm sure you prayed for me. And I'm saying, yeah, yes. So I'm not angry with my mind. It's just that, wow, what an amazing phenomenon this mind is. See, all this is very important. What I'm just sharing with you is very important because imagine the empowerment you feel when you can recognize your mind wandering. See, we can't pray effectively because, you can talk effectively. You can talk with coherence and eloquence because we are conscious of the words we speak. Right? I will never talk to you like this. Prabhu, how are you? Today is Lalit Mata's birthday. I have to go to the washroom now. I just don't keep talking random things. There is a structure, there is a flow to what I'm talking to you. But when I'm talking to Krishna, that is also talking. Prayer is a conversation. But because it is done at the Madhyama Vak, Vaikari is the word spoken, Madhyam is at the thought level, mind is in action. And there you have no control. So why we are saying prayer journal is because you are translating that Madhyama Vak to also Vaikari Vak. You are translating, you are putting your prayers also in word form. Then that helps you, when you come in front of the deities, you are able to make your prayers more meaningful. Otherwise, the mind will run riot. You can try this also. See, in temple, imagine everybody standing in temple hall and praying to the deities, and everybody is praying at the Vaikari Vak. Vaikari means the word, sound. If everybody starts praying, Krishna, I have this problem, please. Everybody is talking. It looks so odd and weird, and it creates so much disturbance, right? We can't pray like that. So we pray softly. But you can try one technique at your private space. If you have your own altar, home, room, you try this. You start praying to Krishna at the level of sound, not at the level of mind. You have an altar, start actually offering prayers in sound manifested form. Say like this, Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The prayers, the way we offer in the mind, you start offering in the word form. See what happens. Try this tonight and I'll tell you some of the things that will happen with you. First thing, some of you, this is a realization some devotees have shared. When they actually tried praying like this, they felt very, very weird. For some of them felt very weird because that reveals how deep within there is an atheist lurking. We have not accepted Krishna as a person, deity as a person. Somewhere there is an atheist. That's why we feel very uncomfortable offering prayer in the spoken form. But you try this, you will feel weird. Some of us may not feel weird. Some of us feel, I've seen devotees say that when they started praying, offering prayers in the spoken form, they started panting. They just couldn't, after every sentence, they were like feeling tired. You know why that happens psychologically? Because at last, the soul has now come in front of Krishna. You actually accepting Krishna as a person, and you are now actually offering your real emotions. But because you've run such a long distance and you at last come to Krishna, you are so tired that tiredness manifests as huffing and panting. And there are third reactions some devotees have. As they start speaking, I've seen devotees, "Ugh." This is the power of, you can see the power of spoken words. We have never explored it because it looks so weird in a temple hall if we all start speaking. So that's why you try this in your private space. Even in private space, some of us don't do that. So that's why I suggested write it down. Start writing. Writing is a medium, it's not the end. Eventually, we want to offer a prayer to Krishna in a way that our thoughts are coherent, clear. So that's how journaling helps. Because sound as voice. I want to go to temple. You tell your spouse, I am going to temple today for the journaling workshop. That is Vaikari Vak. Now, before saying this, maybe you said this sentence in your mind. I want to go for the journaling workshop in manner. That was spoken in thought form. It happened very fast. But that came out in the word form. So that in the thought form is called Madhyama Vak. Remember, the very important point, the last point I am making. Vaikari is what you say, I am going to the temple for a workshop. Madhyama Vak is the same sentence in the thought form. But there is Pashyanti Vak, which is feelings. And that is very difficult to catch. The feeling could be, you are driven by a strong sense of belongingness with Krishna, or you feel very safe with the Lord. And that belongingness to Krishna is very abstract. That manifested as a thought, I want to go to temple, which you are able to catch now because of journaling. And that came out as words, I want to go to temple. But by regular journaling, Krishna will reveal to you your inherent goodness, your sense of belongingness with Krishna, which prompted you to get those thoughts, which led you to say those words. Am I being too abstract?
No.
You can understand what I'm saying, right? So the feelings are very fluid. You can't catch it. It's like, this is made, this cloth, this kurta, you can see, right? Shirt. So what you can see is like, it's like Vaikari. But it is made up of cotton. Can you see the cotton here? You can see the cloth, Vaikari. Maybe you can see some threads later, but cotton is the most abstract. Similarly, Pashyanti Vak, which is most abstract, it's like, you don't know. And there is a fourth level, which is called Paravak. Paravak is the voice of the soul. That is your voice. That's the voice. When we say Hare Krishna, that is sound, letters. But when we chant Hare Krishna and we say, Krishna, I want to serve you, when we are saying that in the mind, that is Madhyama Vak. And that crying for the Lord in a helpless mood, Krishna, help me. That is Pashyanti Vak. And then there is a Paravak, which is the actual soul's relationship with Krishna, which we cannot right now talk about because we are at the level of the mind and intelligence. It's between the soul and Krishna. So Vaikari, Madhyama, Pashyanti and Para. When I was a new devotee, for me Hare Krishna Kirtan was very attractive because I was attracted to the melody. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So I was dancing and I was thinking, "Hai apna dil to aawara." It's a Bollywood song. So the sound was pleasing. So we like pleasing music, we like nice melody. Some singers keep changing the melody. Oh, nice, please, Vaikari Vak. But when we enter the space, Krishna, I want to serve you. As the Kirtan is going on, Krishna, I want to serve you, I want to love you. We are entering the holy name at the Madhyama Vak. And then there is, in the Kirtan, sometimes you are just merged with the holy name. You are just feeling Krishna's embrace. You just want to be there. Shelter of Krishna, that is Pashyanti Vak. And then what is between the soul and Krishna, that it's beyond my syllabus, beyond my ability to explain. That is Paravak. So journaling is a tool to help us touch and go nearer the real voice of the soul, to come near the Paravak. So this entire workshop was And the journey begins with the mind, our companion whom we cannot divorce. We have to live with her or him. For so many lifetimes we've been with him or her. So we begin the journey with recognizing the mind and then going closer to Krishna. So I will stop here. I want to sincerely thank all of you for allowing me to share a subject matter which is very close to my heart. And unfortunately or fortunately, in the normal Bhagavatam class, we don't speak all of this. But I want to thank School of Bhakti for giving me this opportunity. And I want to thank all of you. And I pray and hope that this will benefit you. And even if it doesn't, if it just, I just want to request you, please pray for me. I really need blessings. I want to serve everyone. And if you pray for me and if you bless me, tomorrow, I'm a little selfish. Tomorrow in your prayer journal, you can write one line prayer for me.
Just one quick question.
Okay.
Have you written any book or any?
I've written a few books called, one I've written, which is published by Penguin, called Are You Connected? Then I wrote a book called Cricket in a Monastery, which is a fiction about some monks, they love cricket and they're also past life and all that. It's
Where are the titles? Can it be online?
online, yeah. I write and then I don't bother about it. The temple manages the books and I
You can
don't,
buy through the
through
temple.
online, temple. That's one book I wrote called Journey of Self-Discovery. Then I wrote Are You Connected? Then Cricket in a Monastery. Then I wrote a book called Mind Your Mind. Mind Your Mind was very well received in India. That was also 3 principles how we can manage the mind: awareness, acceptance, and aspiration. Then I wrote, that is also available online. Mind Your Mind.
But
Then
these books are concerned with journaling.
no, the journaling is one small chapter in that book. It's about the mind. That book is all about the mind. And then the 5th book I wrote is called Lessons from the Road, where how we can learn spiritual lessons from Bollywood, cricket, Bhagavatam, life, journey, all that, different stories. There's one chapter on MS Dhoni, Rajnikant. There is one chapter on like that, different things. From Warren Buffet, his life story and what spiritual lessons, parallels with Bhagavatam, like that. And the last book I've written now, which Penguin has agreed to publish, and now the copy editing is going on. It's going to be released in August. That's called Your Inner Journey: How to Find Peace Amidst Outside Chaos. That's the subtitle of the book. And Your Inner Journey is the most defining book I've ever written in my life, because this is me. And this is going to come out in August. And the copy editing is going on in India, Penguin. So I'm excited.
Would you say that the books that you've written on mind is directly related to the experiences in journaling?
Yeah, all the books I've written are a result of my journaling. See, there are people who write books because they have something to share with the world. There are people who write because they want to share with the world. I write because I want to find out what I know. I don't know what I know. I write to discover, people write to share. But when I write to discover, I discover so much that I want to share. And then I share with the world. So I don't write for the world, I write for myself. But then I get a lot of stuff. It's like mining. When you mine, after a lot of mining, you get some jewels. Then I store all of that and then I put it into a book. And okay, thank you so much for your love and appreciation. Hare Krishna.